What's up, everybody? What's going on? What's going on? Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. We're about to be getting into this thing as usual. As y'all know, on Saturdays, joined by the Hood Conservative. He just had a stream going on his channel where he was, I guess, giving a teaser trailer of the same topic that we're covering right now. Shout out to all the people who came right over from that stream. Shout out to Santori, you monkey D. That's interesting. Uh, I can't even get y'all names right. Icy Triz, uh, Chuck Woo Igwe, Mr. GQ Smooth. See, I can read normal stuff. Mr. G2 Smooth and Dolomite. Shout out to everybody who came right over from Hood Conservative Stream. Shout out to all of y'all. But we're about to be definitely getting into this thing. Going to be talking about whether or not the Black Manosphere is a conservative space. The angle that I want to go with it. And I haven't even talked to Hood Conservative about the angle that he want to go with it. Not even about it, not twisting somebody's arm trying to tell them what they should be, but just an analysis of what is it? What is it? A lot of debates that sometimes I don't even understand where all the debate and vitriol come from when people start talking about the whole conservative thing or sometimes I don't even understand where all that comes from. A lot of people get angry on angry arguments on many sides so we're going to be getting into that. So strap on in. Let's get ready to go. I just talked to Hood Conservative in the back. I think his Plantation Wireless kicked in or kicked out, and now he's gone. He should be coming right back, but we're about to be getting into it. Shout out to everybody in the building. I do greatly appreciate you. I did get some cash apps on the air and off the air yesterday. I will be shouting those out because I forgot to shout them out yesterday. So thank you, everybody. Let's get ready to go. Let's strap on in. Let's get it.
Peace, folks. This is X from TPOT Media. Open your mind and wake your black ass up. You know what time it is. Hit that damn like button as you make your way in the door. Grab a seat, settle in, get ready. It's the Grown Man Hour with your host, my man, Bernard Riley.
All right, what's up and what's going on, good people? Shout out to everybody in the building. Do appreciate each and every. Oh, why is that loose? Hold on, gotta make sure the mic right. Shout out to everybody in the building. Do appreciate each and every one of you. Shout out to all of you that came right over from Hood Conservative's channel. Shout out to those of you that made it in bright and early. See Winthrop, Untitled, Dolomite, Michael Holt, Chris G, A Truism, Sir Tice says listening while washing cars. Yeah, he working part-time at the car wash. Gotta get a little extra money on the weekend. I feel you. I'm just playing. Probably washing his car. Sir Tice probably got a bunch of cars. I don't know why. He seemed like that type of guy. Charles Merchant in the building. Dolomite, Mr. GQ, Chuck Igwe. Those names I can't pronounce. So shout out to y'all up there too. Shout out to everybody. But all right, let's go ahead and get into it. Let's bring up the Hood Conservative. I think he got dropped down. Plantation Wireless. Let's hope everything is running functionally. Hood Conservative in the building. What's going on?
Yeah, apologies. My plantation wireless was a little glitchy a second ago. I had to get to a different plantation. But
Okay.
welcome. Happy Saturday, though. Thanks for having me. We missed last weekend, so it's good to be back. Good to be back.
No doubt, no doubt. But as usual, you got an interesting topic on deck. Got an interesting topic on deck. Is the Black Manosphere really a conservative space? There was a time when I thought it was. There was a time when I thought it was. I tend to count things back to 2015, even though I started paying attention around like late 2017. That's when I really started paying attention. And there was there was O'Shea back then when he was doing Manosphere content. Obsidian, Angry Man, those were the three people that more or less started or concept the idea of a Black Manosphere. And Obsidian was staunch down conservative. Angry Man, some years after that time period, around 2018, some years after that, probably in 2020, he one of his channels, because he got two channels, one of them was called The Street Conservative. And then O'Shea used to be very conservative in his views. He may still very well be, but it's like some what's the word, when some merging together of, I don't know, some conservative pro-blackness. I don't know, but I don't even really count O'Shea. I mean, he's kind of made it clear that he ain't a part of the Black Manosphere. He don't even do Black Manosphere content. But either way it go, just the foundation, you can look at the foundation of it and see that, yeah, the people that kind of concepted and everything were quite conservative, and seeing black men with majority black male audiences talking to black men, that's what sort of made me think that, okay, yeah, I've been fighting I've been fighting that label for a while. Was voting a certain way for a while, but eventually I was like, yeah, that is more naturally how I'm leaning. It just, all the black men that I used to ever see having the conversation, and more on the conservative side, they always had a 100% white male, white audience, it seemed. And so it just, I don't know, just something didn't seem genuine about it to me. But seeing black men talking to black men and coming down that way, I was like, okay, this is something more legit. And that's what that's how I came to understand and perceive the Black Manosphere. But it was sometime after that 2020 election, battle lines were drawn, and I found out, hey, maybe it ain't as conservative as I thought. And then it turned into a bunch of people just in full, raising sword and shield against any black conservatives, people within this space doing that. I was like, okay, this space don't seem that damn conservative. I thought it was, but oh well. But either way it goes,
That's where it killed me right there. That what you just said. Because all right, let me give guys a little bit of background. So I tend to pitch ideas for these shows every Saturday, and it's funny, the emails I sent you. Like the first email, I was like, bro, I don't know what the fuck to talk about. And so that was me, like just waking up, like literally just rolling over or whatever. And so I don't typically think about this show until like Friday night, Saturday morning. And so I hadn't really had anything. And then I took a shower, and then I'm up, and I was like, oh yeah, I heard. I was listening to Keep It 100 last night. Right, he did a great stream last night, and
he always do. Shout out to him. Shout out to him.
Yeah, he's solid. And so I'm listening, and this particular thing came up for some reason. I forget how it even came up, but he talked about the space being he's talking about black men and this space being relatively conservative. And when he said that, it kind of sparked an idea in my head. All right, if the space is so conservative on paper, it would seem to have so much conservative leanings, because the solutions to the problems that we point out, the response to the criticisms that we would point out, would be things that would typically be more associated with the culture of the right, or at least a more socially conservative way of being. And my problem then becomes, why do black conservatives get so much shit in this space? without even provoking it necessarily, like without going looking for an enemy, black conservatives, just the mention of conservatism, it elicits a very visceral negative response from a large segment of the black manosphere. And so there's a weird conflict and dichotomy right there that I kind of wanted to explore today, because it just seems weird to me. Like you said, it seems like it would be naturally a conservative right-leaning space until you're openly conservative and right-leaning.
Yes, you hit it on the head right there, because there's a lot of people who they will say things that I, from my perspective, line up with something like you said, more socially conservative. They would say things that line up with that. They would have harsh criticisms for all the liberal nonsense, and they will even trace back everything that we talk about to all the they'll trace it right back to the left. They'll trace it right back there. They'll walk right down that yellow brick road. So and again, that was why I thought everybody in this space was at least left. I mean, just was at least right of center, even if they wasn't a card carrying Republican and voting Republican every time with their fist in the air. Yeah, I didn't expect that was the case, but a lot of people, in terms of the things that they say, their ideas, their perspectives, a lot of the stuff that they talk about, it does seem as if they're definitely right of center. But then when it comes down to almost it's almost like what is that? What was it? The Bradley effect? It's almost like the Bradley effect going on with some black men, where it's like they'll talk.
Explain that. What's the Bradley effect?
I think I got the name right. Y'all let me know in the chat room if I'm getting it wrong. Basically, it was somebody that was running for president. Name, I think his name was Bradley. I can't remember. Where he white people basically said on paper they'll vote for him, but then they went in the booth and they didn't.
Oh, I've heard something like that. Okay,
Yeah. And so it seems like there's like a sort of makeshift version of that going on with black men in their views, and when they explain how they think, when they break down. Yeah, somebody's saying he was a Cali governor, running for governor in California. You know, so it seems like, and if the conversation is casual, they're a conservative. Then when the conversation get more serious, where it's almost like, put your money where your mouth is, it's no, them some racist crackers over there. So it's like that. So yeah, it do seem like that's kind of what it turns into.
Well, that's what I've been noticing, and this is kind of why, like, in my little corner of this, maybe I don't think of myself as a part of the black manosphere, but for whatever, for the conversation, let's say in my little corner of the manosphere, I focus on not so much black women in the romantic context, but I look at the politics of women and just the politics of the left in general. And so it's hard for me to kind of support that, knowing what I know. And when you bring that kind of thing up in this space, that was the beginning of me catching any type of flack. It wasn't so much that, like, I just jumped right out being the coon. It was like, well, why are we voting with the bitches? It's like, oh, shut up, these racists over there. And it's like, well, hold up now. Wait a minute. If you're gonna tell me these women are so bad, and these women, they definitely got white support. You're gonna tell me these women aren't supported by white allies? Like, why we can't have white allies? I need white friends too. Can I get a little white? Doesn't the black man deserve a little bit of his own white power? These bitches got white power. And then now all of a sudden you become a coon and a pariah for pointing out this strategic reality.
Yeah, it was a lot of black women, a lot of black feminists. Actually, we've done content on that. We've played tapes on that where they were talking about the white feminists. How they really don't like them. The black feminists was saying, we don't like these white feminists. They was, they're practically calling them some racist white women that benefit from their proximity to massa. But we're going to form a strategic alliance with them. They literally said that. They literally said they're going to form a strategic alliance with white women in the numbers that come from over there for their own type of benefit. It do seem like black men, and I respect it at some I respect it at some levels, are saying that no strategic alliances. We got to walk a 100% solo narrow path alone, so to speak. If I'm if I'm understanding it correctly, but I'm sure you would say some strategic alliances could take place, coming from the right side of things. But before we get into that, I think one thing more interested, real quick, I want to circle back to Keep It 100 channel.
Can I just say something real quick? Shout
Okay,
out to Mike. Shout out to Mike for the $5 Cash App. Griff Gang is still going. Thank you.
Griff Gang. Yeah, shout out.
Yeah, we was having fun this morning.
Yeah, so when you said Keep It 100, said, and he's somebody who's argued quite a bit against conservatives in this space, and but he said the space is, just to make sure we get the quote right. He said the space is naturally more conservative. Is that what it was?
Yeah, it was like toward the opening. Probably within the first 30 minutes of his show, just like I forget how it came up, but it came up, and he said that to me. Like, I was in the chat and he was responding to me from the chat, but he was saying how the space is just a naturally more conservative space. I was surprised to hear him say it because, and even though, Keep It 100 and I, we get along great, but we have had disagreements along that very line. And so it does it kind of struck me. That's why I remember it like, oh, okay, let's talk about this now. Because what is the issue with black conservatives when black conservatives, especially given the state of affairs with Democrats and their party and their platform, and happy Pride Month, everybody. You voted for this bullshit, but somehow black conservatives are the bad guys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I get exactly what you're saying. Yeah, we got to. Yeah, I mean, I think you got to figure it out. Yeah, it was an echo when we both unmuted. There's an echo, but I think you've been doing a good job muting up after you say what you got to say. We'll work through it. But no, I definitely hear what you're saying. Definitely hear what you're saying. And I guess what I want to know. Damn it! Now that echo is. Wait, hold on. Let me mute you up. What I want to know is that, like, what did he say, or how did he substantiate that claim or that statement that the space is naturally more conservative? It do seem like it would be that way, and if it's not, then it is what it is. But I want to know what was his argument.
He didn't get so deep into it, which is kind of why I wanted to explore it. Because it's not like he and I were on the panel or just having a one-on-one exchange. He was just responding to the chat. So he didn't really get too deep into it. His show wasn't about that particular thing at all. So kind of it was a tangential comment. But it was something, like I said, it struck me because I wanted to talk about this a little bit more. And I take him, at face value for when he says it's a conservative space. I do think the space has conservative leanings. However, there is a gap that is hard to bridge. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. Like, why is it for one, why are black conservatives so hated? I would really love to have somebody, who actually hates black conservatives to get up and maybe explain that a little bit. Like, I seriously would like somebody to try to take a stab at answering that question.
I think that comes I think that comes more so from the perspective or the standpoint that, okay, when you look at what we've seen from it, I'm sorry, I was sitting there thinking, I was reading something in the background and everything. But okay, there's the there's the Larry Elder aspect of it. All right. The Thomas Sowell, even though I don't know how people could go back and listen to some Thomas Sowell and think that this man is not, making sense. But the fact of the matter is, he had been doing his thing since the 70s. All right. This is coming right out of the Black Power, say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud era and all of that. And here you have a black man who is, sitting there in blackface arguing arguing the argument that a white man would be arguing. That's how it was viewed. Here you are with all this intellect, all this education, and you're not using it to advance your people in the way that we see or think or believe that it should be advanced, and they had a problem with that. And then obviously the Thomas Sowells of the world, that trickled over into the Larry Elders, or even the Jesse Lee Petersons who be trolling his ass off. And I'm not saying that Jesse Lee Peterson is anywhere as an intellectual as Thomas Sowell. I'm not putting him in that category. I'm just saying the public faces of it, it comes off a certain way to where y'all just some niggas tap dancing for white people. That's what it comes off. And that's really the gap right there. You can't really shake that aspect of it. Like I pointed out earlier in the show, a lot of black people, a lot of black men in this space, they could call out the nonsense. They could call out all the stuff from the left. They could call out how everything that's coming from over there politically is stuff that's going to benefit women and gays and probably felons. They can look at that. They could see that, and they could call that out. But it's still, it's an extra step in realizing that, okay, these people, and I said this on the previous show, these people over there, they're clearly not for black men, but they are in the business of giving something to disenfranchised minorities. We're a disenfranchised minority. So it's almost like there's almost like we're a disenfranchised minority, and then so they want to get what they could get from that as well. They want to be able to drink at that same well.
See, that's where we've been lied to right there, though. That's Stephen Kahn.
That's hold on. I understand what you're saying, but that's that's where the pushback is. That they see it as that's where the fight is. We're not getting what we need from that, but they are in the business of giving over there. So we're going to fight to get from over there, to get whatever it is we need to get from over there if they're willing to give it, because we know the other side is completely 100% not willing to do it. The conservative side is they're not going to do it. So that's where it comes from. That's where it comes from. And I think Hood just switch plantations again. Let's see how that go. Michael Holt in the building with the $5 super chat. He says it being racist over there is a stumbling block. It's like a mental program that prevents black men from voting for policies in their own interest. Well, one would argue that the policies over there are not in the interest of black people. One would argue that. And I wouldn't argue that, but that's one of the hangups when they talk to conservatives. Okay, name a policy that's beneficial to black people that come from on that side over there. That's what it ends up coming down to. But thank you, Michael Holt, for the $5 super chat. Do greatly appreciate that. Hood Conservative, are you there? Hood Conservative, mic check on Hood Conservative. Okay, look like he's trying to work it out in the. Okay, hold on. Hopefully, I got the right one up. Is this the right one?
No, I'm sorry. I was trying to clean up my settings in the background. You asking me a question?
I did a whole damn I have a dream speech. And then threw it to you.
Nah, I'm sorry. I was trying to clean up this echo. Forgive me.
It looked like you cleaned it up, though. I think either you muted or you cleaned it up. One of the other happened. I think. Okay, I'll try to go back. Try to go back to saying what I was more or less saying. That damn it, I done forgot at this point whatever I was getting at. I've more or less forgot what I said, but I was trying to I was making a point about how that a lot of people, a lot of men in this space, they see all the nonsense that comes from the left, but they look at yeah, now I got it now. They look at the left as this is the party that gives things and does things for disenfranchised minorities. And then, the black man is sitting there. Okay, we're also a disenfranchised minority. We're gonna get to that, SKC. I just started. We're gonna get to that. That's the party that does things for disenfranchised minorities. All right. Black men are also a disenfranchised minority. So to completely turn away from the party that does things for disenfranchised minorities would be counterintuitive or counterproductive. I think what they're saying is this party, this group that's in the business of doing things for disenfranchised minorities. Let's get our share from over there. If we go the other way, there is no share. That I think that's what it is. Even though a lot of the views and arguments and conclusions that they draw are conclusions that are in direct opposition to everything that the left pushes, it still ends up not mattering. That's the party where we gonna get some shit that we need. I think it comes down to that.
I actually think it's way simpler and less intellectually involved than that. We
Okay.
have been essentially punked off of conservatism. Like basically, if you take racism out of the equation, what is the value of any of these programs at that point? And I think that's really the one glue that binds this whole thing together. Even like the left's coalition of all these different groups, that's what binds them all together is, racism. You're all teaming up against the white man essentially. And the problem for the black man, especially as it pertains to America and our little microcosm of the world, but if the white man is public enemy number one for being, a man and wanting to run stuff and, always being in charge, the black man is public enemy number two. And so when you say that
Who did you say is public enemy number two?
the black man.
Okay.
So when you say that you're going to team up to take down the white man and the man doesn't need to have this and that, whatever, right? Without the white man, you become the man and then you become the enemy. You see how that works?
Yeah.
And so when you're asking these questions about, well, these minority groups are getting such and such from the Democrats, well, why can't we? Because you're the man. And so I don't think that most black men have kind of internalized that mental conflict, but that is a conflict, right? Because you're as men, as black men, and especially in the midst of Pride Month, it's even more important to point this out. As heterosexual black men, there is no room for you in that particular agenda, right? And then, and I'm just talking about Pride Month, but then when it comes to beyond that agenda, so much of their agenda actually depends on your sacrifice or subjugating you and your desires. So like yesterday, I was doing this whole stream about feminism and slavery. And long story short, you can't have feminism without snipping some nuts. There's no way. It's impossible. You can't have feminism without snipping nuts.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody's got to come with the scissors, like, because how can you really feminism? And this is kind of the phrase I use to tie it all together. But like, unless you sacrificed a child and destroyed a man, are you really doing feminism? Because that's how it works, and that's kind of the game. And so when you realize that politically, yeah, you've been told these things because of racism and the white man, and we all gotta, team up and get whitey, we gotta go do all that shit. But she had her hand in your pocket the whole time. And now you're realizing something ain't right.
I think I've been watching a lot of Star Wars stuff lately. So to use a Star Wars analogy, if if you team up with the Sith to take down the Republic, after y'all do that, the Sith are gonna turn around and kill you. so it's like you can't be thinking that, oh, we're gonna click up with this group over here and we're gonna go after the white man, and then after all is said and done, okay, you still sitting there with dick and balls. You still a man. You're the next that's gonna get brought down. You can't. So it's like, yeah, you can't team up with the Sith to try to get what you want. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. So I'm with you on that. Eric Bird in the building with the $2 super chat. Do appreciate that. Do appreciate you coming through, dropping something on it. Appreciate everybody supporting the stream.
These last $2, I'm not gonna
lose. Shout out to Charles Merchant. Says Mama tells her black sons that it's white supremacy oppressing him. She will then turn to the world and say the black heterosexual man is her oppressor. Go figure. Thank you for the $10 super chat.
What do we get for $10? Everything you want.
Do appreciate that. Do appreciate that. But no, it's an interesting concept. It's an interesting concept. But I guess what I wanted to tease out as far as this space, and well, hold on, before we get into that, let's look at SKC's a statement right there. It says beyond
good, because I wanted to do that. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, please substantiate the claim that black people as a group are conservative. This doesn't make sense to me. I'll throw that one to you. I got my views on that, but go ahead.
Well, I kind of cheated and skipped ahead and read a little bit, so I know where he's going with this. And we come to the same conclusion about this phenomenon. The Black America, most people have this image of Black America that comes from like the civil rights movement and Black History Month and all that. We ain't them niggas no more. We just ain't. We ain't the same way we can't be African anymore. We ain't the civil rights generation anymore, right? Those men who fought the dogs, or they had the dogs sicked on them and they had the hoses sprayed on them. Those men were patriarchal men. And with this movement, they got to head the movement as men. And in fact, when you get to like later on and have women start to take over, you would hear the women complain about how much men got to run stuff and blah, 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 because the beginning of the civil rights generation was basically a bunch of men standing up, literally walking around with those big sign placards over their chest saying, I am a man, right? It was something about it that was inherently masculine, right? And that's mostly because one, the world was way more masculine back then too, so that was just par for the course. But also, when you look at like this myth of of slavery destroying families, right? Very true, very true. I had a book years ago called "Love Stories from the Underground Railroad," and the whole book was documented cases of guys who escaped slavery and then went back to get their family, right? No women, just men who went back to get their family, right? So yeah, there was damage of the family through slavery, but it wasn't the way people say it. It wasn't like a complete destruction either. And at the same time, by the time, let's say the 1930s roll around or whatever, the 40s or something like that, the black marriage rate, we talk about this stat all the time in the Black Manosphere, the black marriage rate was higher, if not comparable to the white marriage rate, right? So the idea that we somehow could not do families because slavery, we had already overcome that hurdle. However true the argument was, it was an argument for a particular place and time. We had already overcome the hurdle, and the men who were family-minded and patriarchal, Mr. from The Color Purple, that whole archetype, those were the men who were, manning the civil rights battalion, so to speak. So there's a huge giant chasm between then and now. And what's happened is generation single motherhood can't claim to be the same conservative community as generation patriarchal father. It's just no way in hell. So yeah, I think when you ask the grander question, is the black community even a conservative place? No, God no. How could we? In what way? Prove it.
Yeah, no, and I agree with that. But see, here's this is where I gotta add some nuance to it. Even though you're right, and SKC is right. The nuance is this: the degree in which black people vote Democrat. Like I said, Obama put up Castro numbers when it came to the black vote. Like the degree in which black people vote Democrat, there's a large percentage of them that, if you really break down their views, they're not that. They're not on the left. There's a lot of them like that, who sees everything. And one could argue that just because somebody sees everything that's wrong with black culture, just because everybody sees and connects the dots on how certain policies and certain political pandering and certain social and political pandering help influence and subsidize everything that's wrong with black culture. There's a lot of black people who see that. I talk to black people like that. They know that, they see that, they understand it, they fully process it. They still vote Democrat. So that's more or less what I mean by it. But to say that the black community is just more conservative, no, that's an overstatement. I think it's probably a better statement to say is more black people that are definitely more conservative than what the numbers would show. I'll definitely put it there. Shout out to Roast Master, who sent a Cash App yesterday, not a super chat, sent a Cash App yesterday, but that's cool. Just leave that like that. But he sent that yesterday during the show. I do appreciate that, dude. That greatly appreciate that. Appreciate you coming through, Roast Master. It was another one. I think Oswald 123 will put your name in lights real soon. Do appreciate y'all. I don't even know if y'all listening right now, but I missed it yesterday when I was on the air. So acknowledging you right now. Do appreciate that. Do greatly appreciate that. But yeah. No, hopefully we answered SKC's question. Now, I do think that black men are more leaning in that direction than the women. I think that part is obvious. Men are normally more conservative than what women are. Like that part, that's the obvious part. And I think black men talking online has I think influenced the mind and the worldview of black men, not necessarily to say, oh, we're Republicans now. No. But I think it has made them stop and think about the robotic drone like way in which black people vote. And I think black men are changing on that. And I do think the Black Manosphere is one of the hubs that sort of get people, get black men thinking differently. But honestly, I think a lot of them start thinking differently, have a worldview change, and then they just throw their hands in the air and they say, fuck it, they just don't vote. Like I meet a lot of them. I talk to a lot of them like that. Hell, I think Keep It 100 is one who's like, nah, I'm not voting. He looked at it as, people like how Candace Owens and a lot of them, they'll say, leave the Democratic plantation. I heard him say before, okay, if you go on Republican, you just hopping on another plantation. You just went from Candyland to from Big Daddy's plantation to Candyland. If I got the Django analogy right, because he said something like that. So he's basically, that's the view that I think a lot of black men have, that I think D right there in the chat room is saying it's pointless. I think he's saying it's pointless. A lot of people view it as pointless. I think a lot of black men, when they see the writing on the wall when it comes to the left, they just say, they throw their hands in the air because they're not going right. The left is bad. The right is also it's just one plantation from another. Black men shouldn't go on plantations. They just don't vote. So there's that. There's that. SKC says so. 3 to 4 generations of mom raised men are conservative. Again, how? I think we
Yeah,
conceded.
that's the same point I was making. Yeah.
Yeah, SKC, we conceded the point, and we said that we conceded the point, and then we said that it's more conservative black people than what you than what the numbers show. But on the whole, no, we can't make that argument. So the point was conceded. The point was definitely conceded.
Well, I think even beyond that point, it's not even about the black community because I think those of us in this space can accept that reality. But I think in this space in particular, like I said, it's just a weird conundrum. It's a paradox, right? Where the solutions are conservatives. The solutions are conservative, but conservatism is the enemy. I don't know
That's
how
the
you,
point.
yeah, I don't know how you untie that knot. That's tough knot for me to untie.
But is the solutions conservative? Okay, we got to go down this route. There's a certain amount of black people that when you tease out their position, and a lot of them find themselves, on on YouTube doing content. When you really truly tease out their position, they're like, their problem with the Democrats is that the Democrats are not far enough to the left. The Democrats are not leftists. I've heard FD Signifier. He's good at producing content. I know you disagree with him on everything. I disagree with him on a whole hell of a lot, but his content is fun. If you just sit there and just watch his videos, he makes little mini every video is like a little mini documentary. So I give shout out to good work when I see it. But he pointed out he had a bunch of black people come on, or he interviewed black people and edited into his video, and he was like, so are you a Democrat then? And they was like, hell no, they might as well call me the N-word, call me a Democrat. That's how they felt about Democrats. And then so I'm like, okay, well, why? Okay, so why do they feel that way? And then when he went to really truly breaking it down, what it came down to is that the Democrats, it was explained like this. The Republicans and the Democrats want to uphold capitalism, and capitalism is the enemy of black people. It was put that way. So he basically said, I'm a leftist in the sense that I want it more. I want the Democrats to be better Democrat. I want them to be further to the left. They need to be better leftists, or they're not leftists. Put it like that. They're not leftists, and they need to be to truly get my support. So yeah, so basically what they're saying is that he all but said it. Yeah, I'm a socialist. I want socialism. Everybody
Are these
I walk in
Manosphere guys?
No, I said FD Signifier.
Okay. Oh yeah, I just want to be clear about that because this is such an alien concept for these spaces.
I know, but okay. My position is this is where I gotta probably take a leap. Is that the socialism that he was saying that he wants? I think a lot of people do want that for black people, and black people won't be made completely whole in this country until there's some type of program that amounts to full-blown hardcore socialism. I think that they feel that way. Like when we get into conversations about the UBI, I think that's what it comes down to. I could be wrong, but I think there's a percentage of black people, some in this space, a lot of them out of this space, that socialism is what they absolutely want. They want absolute socialism. I think that's what it is.
I think there is a lot of truth in that. I think there are a lot of black people who either are sort of like members, like they're what do you call it, church deacons or something like that, where when it comes to socialism they are totally in the business of it, they understand it, and so they feel like it's inevitable, like we're just going to wind up here anyway. And then you got a lot more black people who don't necessarily understand the totality of what they support. And so it's like they may support these things in theory, but they don't really have the entire roadmap of how it's going to go. And so you wind up in this position where we just talked about, where a lot of black men are looking at the Democrats like, well, yeah, you're doing this and this and this for these minority groups, but how come I'm not treated as a disenfranchised minority? And it's like, aha, that's the kick right there. Socialism kind of has to crush a lot of the men, because men are going to be the ones who fight back. And I was making that same analogy when it comes to feminism, but it's a similar concept. Like, part of the reason why you're part of the reason why something like patriarchy has to be the enemy isn't just because feminism, like feminism is about a bunch of bitches. It's not even that important in the grand scheme of things. If you really start getting deep, feminism was just one tool of the grand scheme, right? And so I can't remember who the original writer of this particular concept was, but basically the family unit is inherently the first bulwark against the state when it comes to totalitarianism. And so it's not so much that you care about women having equality and you would just implement feminism because of that. It's because you want to disintegrate the family unit to the point where we're in California and they're proposing that you should lose your child. The state should take your child if you don't support your child's gender. Like,
Damn.
you would think these two places have nothing, like the starting point and the end point. How do we go from women's rights to maybe the state should take your child because you don't respect his gender? And it's kind of because of a larger concept that's way bigger than feminism. But when you start to get too deep into these ideas, you're going to lose a lot of people, because it takes a lot of like study and knowledge to be able to kind of see the intricate step-by-step plan of it all. But there is something else at play. This is why I don't really like the typical black people's relationship to like racism conversation, because I don't see it the way most black people see it. Most black people have the Marxist interpretation of things, which is, the white man represents the power system or whatever. But I'm like, the power system is the person who set you against the white man. That's the power system, but whatever.
Michael Holt in the building with another one says the remedies for black people are conservative values, policies, pro-family, entrepreneurship, low taxes, immigration, and education skills. Education, skills, trade. Thank you for the super chat. Theo in the building with $2 super chat. He says, I lived in socialism 1 year. It's horrible. Avoid. Thank you for the $2 super chat. Do appreciate
These last $2, I'm not gonna lose.
Do appreciate that. Shout out to everybody in the building. Appreciate everybody supporting the stream. If you're new here, subscribe and definitely hit that like button. Hit that like button. To what degree do you think that this space it needs to be more conservative, and how does that even look? It's like, so like, yeah, I got, I don't know, it's kind of an open-ended question. I don't know if you could even surmise an answer to it, but yeah, that's the question.
I mean, I particularly say, that's why I was joking with Keep 100 in the chat, because he was asking about my relationship to the space. So I'm like, no, I think I'm too far right for the space, because like most of the space is on some, quiet Marxism, and I'm with the helicopter rides. Like, that's how you fight Marxism. So don't take my don't take my word is what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? But like, the thing is, and those that know understand what the helicopter ride is. But the thing is, the space, I don't think most guys, most black men in this space don't really understand the end goal of their political system or their political beefs. I mean, sorry, beliefs. Most black people, most black men in the space, I don't think have had a really like long term kind of game theory sort of discussion about the political realities of things. So, for example, right now, you got pretty much every black elected official supporting these illegal immigrants who are just coming nonstop. And you're being told against every common sense and every sense of self-preservation to you basically to ignore every sense of self-preservation and all your common sense to not question this thing because they're somehow gonna help us do, I don't know, utopia or something. I don't know what the great plan is, but somehow this is supposed to be good for you as black people, as black men especially. And it's like, well, did we ever actually stop and think about this? And I don't think most people have. They just sort of went along with the scheme.
What do you mean by quiet Marxism? What do you? I think you said most people in this space are on some quiet Marxism. What exactly do you mean by that?
Well, I shouldn't say most people. That's almost putting a number on it. But I know there's a lot of people who, for either reasons of some sort of racial angle, or just they generally believe in the spirit of Marxism. They think something is wrong with capitalism, and so they'd rather see capitalism be replaced with something else. God knows what else, but there is a lot of, I think a lot of people have just sort of been indoctrinated is like a heavy word to use, but a lot of people have sort of quietly swallowed certain beliefs. And this is the thing too, when SKC talks about several generations of men being raised by single moms, how could they produce a conservative man? All right, so how you almost essentially have to like question everything you've been raised up under to reestablish like a sort of baseline, like what's reality, what's true, why is this thing happening? Because what you've been told up to this point was something that just basically keeps you in the lane of voting like Democrat and staying on the plantation, as they say, right? And so like all these young men have been raised up like this. And when it comes to like the space being more conservative versus more Marxist, you've kind of been raised to be a Marxist in a lot of ways, right? Because this is a fucked up thing I just thought about, but like if you like say you're from the projects, so your mom's on welfare or something like that. So like at this point we've had like millions of people growing up, like like there's generations who like went from like one welfare apartment, then like the mom dies and the kids take over the apartment, and someone dies and the next kids take over. Like we're knee deep in this type of culture, right? So money almost isn't real for a lot of people. Like it's one thing for when a person who's like super rich. It's one thing for like Bill Gates to act as if money isn't real, but people who have almost no assets and likely will never have assets get to exist in a state of money not quite being real because it just comes. And it creates a certain type of culture and a certain type of mentality. And so like, yeah, I think that has effects on the political outlooks of even men in the space that we talk about, that we talk to all the time.
What are the helicopter rides? I don't know what the helicopter rides are.
This was something from the drug wars, but you know how the drug I mean not the drug wars per se, but the drug wars in South America were actual wars. Like we were going down there killing shit. Up here, drug wars are about arresting crackheads and shit. But in South America, the whole drug thing started because the CIA wanted to sell coke to make money to fight communism, right? Well, one of our guys who was helping us fight communism, I think his name was Pinochet, Augusto Pinochet. I forget the country specifically, but Augusto Pinochet was famous for hanging communists out of helicopters. Apparently, he was well loved. Apparently, it got him some favor. It got him liked. Lots of likes.
Yeah. As he says, hence the statement, you got money for this, but not reparations. Interesting. But yeah. So this space is quite the interesting space. I think that we definitely agree on that. Most of the solutions are most of the solutions to that everybody see to problems that everybody generally agrees that came from the left. Most of the solutions are more conservative leaning solutions. However, don't call yourself a conservative. It's like that. That's more or less what I gather from a lot of things in this space. That's more or less what I gather from a lot of things in this space. And you know, I'm not even in the business of telling people what they need to do. Like I said, I think a high percentage of black men in this space have thrown their hands in the air when it comes to, you know, um, the whole left versus right thing. They say they all bad. A lot of them don't vote. It's like it is what it is. But the link, I just put the link in the chat. We almost up on the 1 hour mark. We almost up on the 1 hour mark. So I put the link in the chat. But my man, Coach Ali's corner in the building says no comment, just tricking. Shout out to Be Our Hood, servant in the chat. Haven't been over here in a while. Thank you for the super chat. Do appreciate that.
What do we get for $10? Everything you want.
Local hometown brother right there. Coach Ali in the building. But yeah, the link is in the chat. Somebody want to come up and have their say on this. I do one thing that I do want to somebody to parse out if they can is the level of hate or vitriol that black conservatives get, particularly black conservatives in this space, but black conservatives in general. I understand, like I broke down, I understand how and why Thomas Sowell got the hate that he got, coming out of that era. He was, very, very intelligent, intellectual man on television. And during the Black Power era, you know, giving an opposite message, they had a problem with that. I get why I get but don't get why Larry Elder gets this hate, why people got to disdain for him. But then there's even more to it in a roundabout way. We got the black men in this space who definitely lean right, and wars were fought and casualties on many sides when it comes to that came to the 2020 election. And then that's when I was like, oh shit, this is not that much of a conservative space, which is okay. I mean, it is what it is, but that's when I noticed it. That's when it became more official. There's still people who have not been friends and have not talked since late 2020. It just
it was actually more than just the 2020 election, because I know I can trace back. I was just telling the story earlier a second ago on my other stream, but I can trace the moment where I know I had a conflict, and it was at the George Floyd event. It was not at, but it was for George Floyd. And I remember actually being on your show, and during the George Floyd riots, I don't know if you remember this, but I was actually showing footage. I'm giving you clips of footage, and there was this guy, I think his name was Dorn, David Dorn. He was like a police chief or something like that, but he was retired. And they had basically, I showed you the clip of when they ran up in the store and shot him. And somebody on the panel was like, that was like his like god uncle, somebody close to him. It was like a male figure in his life. Mm-hmm. And he was kind of like tearing up on the panel, whatever, and shit. I remember in that moment. I remember that moment, and it was like, damn, we were kind of all in the reality just of the riots and the chaos or whatever, right? And then beyond that, something else happened after that stream. So I think I'm on MOTs, and everybody is debating over the whole thing. And I was just like shocked at how many men were just sort of like riding for Floyd, while we had just kind of got over the whole Pookie Ray Ray thing, Pookies are bad for the community. You know, women rather fuck Pookie, let them have him. We had just had this whole thing, and then all of a sudden, a Pookie gets killed by a white man, and we're all back on the same team. And I was like, wow, that was powerful magic I just watched happen. And it's been different ever since then.
Yeah, that what you said it's I don't even want to get into a George Floyd discussion. It's so much to unpack there. Like I definitely wasn't. I don't know.
Yeah, but that's what happens when you have like a nuanced opinion of it, right?
The shit was what happened was wrong, but
Yeah.
some of the reaction was out there kind of some of the reaction to it was out there kind of wild, and but I'll leave it there, and I'm not even trying to get into the George Floyd situation. But hold on, True Hype. Hold on a second. Going in order, Black Thought is in the building. Go ahead. You have the floor. You have the mic on the conversation that we was having with your thoughts on that when it comes to the title question, is Black Manosphere really a conservative space? And the sub question is, why do black men, particularly black men in this space, tend to lash out or have some disagreement or disdain for even black people more conservative leaning in this space?
Good afternoon, everyone. It's the first thing I want to say. Thank you, Bernard Raleigh, for having me up. Everyone on the panel, how's everyone doing?
Great, doing great.
Is the Black Manosphere a conservative space? I'm gonna have to say it's a mixed bag. To say it's a conservative space, it's hard to say that because a lot of these dudes come from Democrat households. So to say it's a conservative space is a reach. There are conservative men that are here, but I think majority of the dudes, most of them are, you know, Democrat women in men's face. And that's why you see them lashing out at true males that come here that share conservative values. Because they can't adhere to the hard work to get things done, the order. Because again, they are women in men's face. So they don't have love for strong men. When you look at most of these single mothers and women and leftist women and all of that, proud, strong, and independent, the one thing they have pure disdain for is strong men that live a healthy and strong and balanced life. So if you're a male and you grew up under that, you're going to have that same disdain. So that's why they don't like truly conservative men.
No, good stuff. We got True Hype in the building. Well, Hood, you got anything you want to add to what he said right there? I mean, what he said right there, I mean, it was
No, that doesn't need anything.
I got nothing to add to it. No, good stuff. But True Hype, go ahead. You got the floor. You got the mic.
Yeah. So like, I've heard and I see Nate on the thing. I think he sums it up like, basically, without putting words in his mouth, whatever. It's like, male autonomy and basically choosing your own thing. And I think more men want that. And that's not necessarily a conservative thing. It's presented in a certain way with conservatives and libertarians, right? I'm not lumping those two together, but I'm just saying like with their ideology, because their ideology tends to like have nuance. And what the disdain is, it's like a cultural breeding of disdain for authority. And that's what men truly like, want. They want some kind of structure, you know what I'm saying? And even though people that say they don't want structure, they need structure and they actually like, are attracted to it. and like they'll say all this stuff, but then there's that clip going around with the the progressive woman that basically wants a conservative with liberal values, and that's like a microcosm of what's happening. People are saying one thing, but they're actually needing something else because we're wired to like respond to certain stimuli, if you will, right? But it sounds good, so it's a mixture of virtue signaling and all kinds of other stuff, and it's really like crossed everything up because dudes we tend to be real direct and kind of say what we mean, except for some of these dudes have been like I guess raised up in certain environments. They're not going to be as direct. They're going to do the passive aggressive stuff. They're going to throw shots. They're going to be more apt to do things that have been conditionally or not conditionally been traditionally associated with one sex versus the other, and it seems out of character for dudes that know how to actually operate as dudes. I kind of feel sad for some of the young dudes that grow up in this because they don't necessarily know any better. But then again, like there's a certain point where you got to learn better. If your results don't match whatever the ones that you want, then you have to do something again, or else it's just insanity, right?
That's the thing. I was thinking about an idea a few minutes ago similar to that, and basically it's like you kind of have to relearn. All right, so all these young men growing up in generations of single motherhood, like the traditions and the concepts and the very just atmosphere of a patriarchal world is gone. So we've forgotten, we've lost all that stuff. And so when this red pill thing comes along, it's sort of like men kind of sort of almost teaching ourselves like together at the same time. We are rediscovering the little ins and outs and nuances of masculinity, and we're debating the finer points of them even, right? I think you don't when you don't have that, it leads you it's hard to kind of put it that it's hard for me to even say it that way, but basically it seems like this whole matriarchal culture exists on the lack of men knowing, and I think that's kind of what's also at stake here. By men knowing, we're destroying something at the same time.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah. I'm ready.
I'm ready.
I've been trying to hold you back a little bit because we'll be doing a topic that ain't really conservative, liberal, Democrat, Republican. I'm like, no, Nate, don't take it over. Don't take it down that road. But now we on that road, so I can't even hold you back today. So go ahead. You got it, Nate. Let them have it. Let them have it.
Shout out to the panel, Hood, Black Thought. Salute to you, sir. I see you on my Rumble. Appreciate you coming through. Look, I know people get sick of me making everything political, but I think I've done a magnificent job because no one wants to debate me, especially these leftists. When I debate leftists, I beat them by more than 50 points. I've debated two liberals on TPOT. I beat them by more than 50 points. Okay. I don't lose debates, especially on these subjects. You want to debate me on cryptocurrency and you know about it, you'll probably mop the floor with me. Real estate investing, you'd probably whoop me because I haven't invested in real estate yet. But these issues, these pertinent issues about Black America, the best solutions, manhood, patriarchy, fatherhood, no one's going to defeat me. I'm sorry. You're just not. It's not that I have exclusive access to the truth. I try to be in as close a physical proximity to the truth myself, so I can pull off of it. And the facts are the facts. The facts are the white Democrat has been your enemy for almost 200 years. The facts are every single wicked machination, wicked plan, subversive act committed against Black people in this country up until the 1980s and 90s. The Republicans were at the helm when the crack thing. It wasn't Reagan, it was Bush. Bush was former head of the CIA. He coordinated all that shit along with Bill Clinton. Hundreds of millions of pounds of cocaine came in on C-130s to Mena Air Force Base in Arkansas while Clinton was Attorney General and then governor. So your first black president played a huge role in the crack epidemic. But of course, you don't know that either. The white Democrat has been your enemy for almost 200 years. I make things political because black people did not experience this complete deterioration of their families, of their relationships, of their station in this country as productive, competent citizens that didn't go around complaining and whining all the time until we made this full embrace of the Democrat Party and white liberalism. That's an irrefutable fact, and no one's going to be able to challenge me on it. You will be trounced if you try. Okay? You can bring BGS, you can bring FD Signifier, you can bring all of them.
Nigga, please.
All of them. Bring all of them. All right? Bring all of them. And whoever that
Nigga, please. Set it up, Bernard. Set it up.
I'm not debating.
Nigga,
I didn't
please.
mention you.
Time
I didn't
out,
mention you.
Hold on.
I'm not gonna waste my time with you.
Whoa. Everybody, pump the brakes. You
As
got
he-
next.
he
Hold on,
can
wait,
speak
Nate. Hold on. Just put it in the holster. You got next, J Speed. Let's.
No, he put a challenge out there, and I say set it up.
So you're a leftist. Admit you're
No.
a leftist. I'll debate you.
No. You put the challenge out there, brother. You didn't say what was the criteria. You put the challenge out there. Look, man, you got the short man disease, and I already know that. You got the short man disease. I already know that. I'm gonna mop your ass up while you hold my nuts.
I'm done.
Okay, all right.
I'm not dealing with this clown.
OG.
These niggas are my enemies. That's what they are at the end of the day.
All right, OG. For one, you got that in your mic because I think you're trying to drown people out with your magical mic. So let's.
No, okay. Well, let me cut it down. Let me cut it down there. Okay.
Let's
all
cut
right.
that. Let's cut that down a notch. All right. I am.
Is that better?
Is
that better?
It's still a little hiss in the background. You can stand and turn it down a little bit more.
Okay, that might be. Okay.
I am curious.
How about that?
Because the hiss is still there. The hiss ain't going nowhere.
His microphone.
Oh, that's gonna be my machine. It's picking up my fan. That's what it is.
It's picking up my fan.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't have my threshold set because I wasn't come up today. But I take his challenge anytime he want to, and then I just leave on that. I take his challenge anytime you want to. You set it up. I'll take his challenge any day he wants.
Let's let him flesh out. The challenge is that the deceitful thing, everything that went awry, that went wrong, it was essentially a nefarious plan by the left, by Democrats. Everything that's went wrong, that's going wrong with black people, has been a plan by the Democrats. Is that essentially your argument, Nate? That's what you laid out.
It's been my argument for 4 years now.
Okay, all right.
For the most part.
Okay, so ODJ Speed, you're saying you can. That's an argument that you can refute.
Most certainly, because he said 200 years. We can just go back a little bit of time. We'll find out that most black people, probably 98%, was conservatives. So that is not true. And if you look at it the way I look at it,
that doesn't even make any sense.
Okay,
what you just said doesn't even make any sense.
I know it don't, cause you don't get enough oxygen cause you're too short, brother. That's one of the reasons it don't make sense. You're too fucking short. You too short. You right. And you probably be looking at me at my neighbor cord, so it don't make sense to you, cause my mouth is way up here. Okay. So what I'm trying to say, Bernard.
You trying to insult?
That's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm trying to do. But he can't. He cut in and said it didn't make sense.
I couldn't even.
He cut in and said it didn't make sense.
I couldn't even finish.
No, I was trying to finish, bro.
No.
Bernard gave me the floor.
Oh wait, Nate, you never finished.
No, nothing. He gave me the floor.
Oh, Nate, are you saying you never finished your whole?
He asked me a question.
He interrupted me. I just got.
I'll be quiet.
All right. We got to go back to Nate. My bad. I thought you finished, Nate. My bad. Go ahead.
Oh,
we'll go.
God.
But you did give me the floor for you. Wait a minute. You did give me the floor.
No. What happened was.
Okay, that's all I want to understand. That's all I want to understand. That's all it is.
No,
I want to understand that.
No. I'm respectful of the host, unlike you. So I shut my mouth and let him run his show, unlike you.
All right, we're gonna go to Nate and let Nate finish. OG, mute up. Let Nate have it, and then all right, go ahead, Nate.
Like I was saying, you see, this always happens. I come up on a platform, I lay out irrefutable facts. Okay, then these leftist guys hop up on the platform in their feelings and start to attack. Why don't you attack what I say? Why don't you attack the facts I've laid out? Okay. I have shown videos on Bernard's proving that the white Democrats were the ones that committed all these heinous acts, all these vicious attacks, all the brutality. I've already proven it on several occasions. I'm not going to debate you because I don't need to. I can't take the things you say serious. You said, oh, that 98% was conservatives. I didn't even understand what you said. No, sir, I will not debate you. If you'd have shown me respect, instead of coming up here time after time to mess with me, maybe I'd debate you. But no, sir, there will be no debate between us. And it's not out of fear. I know I'm not scared to debate somebody like you. I just have better things to do. Now, I have proven in this space that the white man is not your enemy. The white Democrat is, okay? Not only does the white Democrat look at you with this paternalistic, pat you on your Brillo pad head, I know what's best for you nonsense, okay? These goddamn white liberals. I'm sorry, don't. That's what I played a video on my show last night. Bruh, shout out Sir Tice. I played a video on my show last night where this gentleman was interviewing people at Berkeley about our voter IDs racist. All these white liberals saying, yeah, you know, black people, they really don't know their way around.
Do we have to listen to this Martin Luther King speech? I thought he was supposed to be wrapping up what he was saying.
Yeah, no, come on, OG, chill.
He can't stop.
Chill.
So all these whites at Berkeley were saying, well, yeah, black people, you know, they can't get IDs. Black people, they may not have transportation to the DMV. Black people, they don't really know how their way around the internet. These are literal quotes from the people. You can just go look at my show. And it's an interview. You can watch it. Okay. Even though he says I'm lying, these guys are the worst people in the world. Democrat black men are the single worst people in the world. Black women receive benefit, even though the benefit ends up to their detriment eventually. They do receive some short-term benefit from being Democrats. They get their welfare. They get, you know, put on pedestals, you know, when they weigh 300 pounds and say yoga is racist. They get commercials from Gatorade. You know, they get celebrated for being abusive and hateful. They get celebrated for putting 50% of their babies to death every year. They get celebrated for it. So short term, it makes them feel good. Long term, it's turned them into the most dysfunctional woman on the planet. That's what it's done. White liberalism plus black Americans equals the apocalypse. Okay? Now, let's take a look at what happens when black people embrace conservatism. Many of your top black businessmen in this country are Republicans or conservatives. You look at this space, since you want to bring it to this space, is this space conservative? No. To SKC's point, you're not going to change black men that have been worshiping at the altar of the black vagina for 3 or 4 generations. You're not going to change them overnight with a few dynamic, well-speaking men introducing them to conservative ideology, which appeals to the nature of a man. That's why brothers are starting to move in that direction, but it's going to take time. It's going to take patience. You know, if you're talking about fuck them hoes, fuck the family, all women is hoes, fuck them kids, then, you know, you're going to have a lot of people in there because niggas like to trauma bond, just like women do. All right. When you speak about the dysfunction in this space, there was a nigga on another black man's platform that insulted my son, right? Linked to one of his fights, started insulting him, calling all these names. And I went on went on Rumble the other day, and the stream I did was so vicious, Rumble took it down. That's how brutal what I did to this filthy, fucking degenerate nigga was. Okay? I'm not going to say his name. I'm not going to say his name. Don't worry, I'm not going to say his name.
That is crazy. You are too much.
He insulted my son, and I murdered him. And Rumble took it down about an hour before I was done. I fired up another stream. Part 2 is still up there. I'm not playing, dog. These niggas on the left are toxic. No, I'm almost done.
These
niggas on the left are toxic. These niggas on the left tried to destroy Sub-Zero.
You crying over breast milk, bro? Come on now. Let's get to the point. Let's get to the point. Get off the breast.
How this ain't your panel, nigga?
OG, chill.
Can we get to the?
I'll finish when I'm finished, so the host tells me to wrap it up. Who are you? Like I said, niggas insult my son, and set aside the insulting of my son. That same degenerate piece of trash, that fucking virus and a cancer in this space, has tried to destroy Sub-Zero's business. He's tried to fuck up Theo's school. He shits on every event that's put on. Why don't these worthless leftist niggas do something of value? Where's your school, dirty niggas? Where's your events, niggers? All you do, you act exactly like black women. In the end of the day, you are black women with penises. You sound
just like a white conservative.
You start fights when nobody's bothering, just like this guy comes up to fuck with me.
N-word. Sound like a conservative.
What you think about the N-word?
Sound like a white conservative.
Hold on.
Sound like a white conservative.
Thank you.
Hey, but you let him go on all this whole breast milk stuff. We supposed to be talking about one point. His son is grown. He can defend himself. Why we all into that?
Not your platform.
But I'm just saying, your son is a grown-ass man. Why are we talking about that?
Nigga,
he ain't like a child. He's a grown-ass man. What are you talking about?
Hey,
you smell.
Hey,
nigga,
Bernard, the microphone and debate me.
Okay, all right.
Talking about my son. OG. I'm gonna have to drop down.
All right. Damn it, OG, come on.
Fucking mouth off my son, nigga.
Come on, OG.
Before I do a stream about you, you want to go to one nigga? Keep my son out your mouth.
Goddamn.
OG, stop unmuting
with me.
Stop unmuting yourself. All right, you getting muted in the back. Stop unmuting yourself. Just chill.
Go back
all
to
right.
the corner, Nate.
Disrespect my fucking son. I don't care if he is 24 years old. He is a warrior. And you're gonna put the links to his war in a chat and start insulting him, nigga? You better keep the fuck out of this, boy. I'm warning you. It's between me and that nigga. And old boy got drug into it because he gave a virus a wrench on his space. There's no honor amongst niggas.
Well, you call me a nigga, it's all whole bars now. You call me a nigga. I take you and your son in a...
You keep my son out of your mouth.
All right, we gonna...
I take you and your son in a square ring.
Oh,
nigga,
you want to go there? You want to get that? That's why I'm a professional. You want to go there? You want to go there? You won't do shit. You won't do shit but hold my nuts like you doing now. You won't do nothing. You think you the only one got? You think you the only one got one? You think you the only one that got one, bro?
I'll let you, Bernard.
This is what we gonna do. This is what we gonna do. I'm dropping both of y'all down. We passing it to dirty folks, and then I bring y'all back up in a second. Go ahead, dirty folks. Go ahead.
Y'all are hilarious. To the initial question, man.
Yeah, the initial type. Hold on, real quick. Super duper in the building says women and men. He's quoting what I think Black Thought said. Women and man face. Too perfect of a description. Absolutely. Hoop jargon in the building says. Show started now. Yeah, that's how it go. Captain Cisco in the building says, ask Little Big Nate about Allen whistleblower. I see the liberals using the alien interview to promote socialism through alien telepath. I still haven't watched that. I think Captain Cisco coming here pretty much every day talking about that. You got email me the link. My email is in the about section, or RM will probably drop it in the chat room. Email me, send me the link to what you're talking about the aliens. I am curious. I don't know if I do content on it, but I am curious. All right. Dirty folks, what's up, man?
Ooh.
Go ahead. What you got?
Ooh, and I thought I like gangbanging. Anyway, shit. All right, look. Shout out to the panel, man. Shout out to Nate. Shout out to Nate on timeout though. Get some water, Nate. Shout out to Hood, man. We had a good build yesterday on his show.
Nate is gone. He ain't even in the back. He gone, and we're probably gonna see a stream on Rumble later on tonight or tomorrow or whenever. And if Nate got a stream taken down on Rumble, I don't know how bad it was.
Dude,
Rumble don't take stuff down.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what? God bless. That's my favorite Southern Baptist preacher. God bless. All right. So the Black Manosphere is not a conservative space. Men are conservative. The Black Manosphere is not. I mean, generally speaking, black is for women, gays, and felons. So when they come on here, this is what they talk about. They talk about the pookies, felons, and they talk about women, either how to get women or how to avoid women. There's really no conservative bill. There's nobody like, all right, I got peanut butter, you got jelly, man. As guys, man, we're gonna try, but we're gonna do X, Y, Z. That is more of a conservative thing. What I've noticed in the Black Manosphere, and I say this on my show all the time, is that Black men have a masculine way to say vaginal stuff, right? So they'll say stuff like, "Man, I'm my own man. You can't follow. You can't tell me what to do." That's like a girl say, "Who gonna check me, boo?" They say, "Man, as their own man, they don't have to follow other men." That's no different than women saying she don't need no man. It's the same ideology in a masculine tone, and it doesn't take you anywhere. Now, the act of being a man means you conserve your resources, but then you come on the manosphere and everybody want to be a high value man and give it away to a toddler. So everything they do is antithetic to conservatism because that's not what the space.
How could you say that, but you got the same exact talking points as everybody in the Black Manosphere?
I don't tell, man, I'm a two taco dude. I don't tell nobody. I tell, no, that's not what I do at all. And I don't even think I'm Black Manosphere. Y'all just say I'm.
I know
black.
you. I know you. I know you're not in the sense that you don't claim it, but
You
you hang
are.
around it and got the same exact talking points. You got the same exact talking points.
I don't talk about that. What I speak on is
this is a dirty Mac, man. You're dirty Macking. That's what's going on.
Dirty
I'm sorry,
Mac.
I gotta call the shit. Dog.
That's not dirty Macking. That's not dirty Macking. You're asking about is the space conservative? I'm saying the space is a conservative in that just I offer jobs on my channel, everything. I tell dudes to quit listening to girls with clothes on. It's like the opposite of black. But I'm saying the space itself is not conservative. If the space was conservative, then they stand on their conservative values. They wouldn't be able to let
we agreed that it wasn't conservative. We agreed with that part. It's a conservative branch in it, but we were arguing that a lot of the solutions are more so conservative. It seems to be a lot of the solutions to a lot of the problems that get talked about in this space are solutions that lean more socially conservative, it seems. So that's why we're just having a conversation and teasing it out. So that's what's going on here. But we can agree that no, it's not a conservative space. That's the headline. That's the headline. But I think everybody agreed that it's not.
I believe this. I believe that there are men that are conservative that get lumped into the Black Manosphere, like JT Pocket Watcher or something like that. I think that's his name. I don't want to slander his name, but all he talks about is how to avoid scams, how to avoid bad investments, whether it's real estate or women. I don't think that he's necessarily Black Manosphere, but he gets lumped into it because he's black and he's a man. You know what I'm saying? I think they should be.
What's the problem with what he talks about? You're saying
nothing's the problem. No, nothing's the problem with it. Nothing, not one thing. But I'm saying that he would be lumped in Black Manosphere, and it'd be the same thing as like BGS, which talks about totally different things. That's what I'm saying. I I don't necessarily
You
think
said
that
BGS talks about totally different things than the
Then
Black
pocket
Manosphere.
watching.
no,
Then
and
pocket watching
pocket
with
watching.
Oh,
JT.
then pocket watching with JT.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I mean the
Because
Black Manosphere.
he's not Black Manosphere. That's why.
He's not, but he collabed with a lot of Black Manosphere people. He was in cahoots with it, but no, he's technically not it, and I'm pretty sure he wouldn't claim it. I mean, he sort of had to tag on him a little bit. It was a moment before the space was as divided as it is, where people like Lead Attorney talked about that, how there are certain people coming into the Black Manosphere at an angle, but then in like the pocket watching with JT, his angle was finance. Lead Attorney, his angle was being a divorce attorney. But then eventually the nigga shit kicks in, and then the people who came in at an angle that got some expertise, they pull back like, no, damn it, I'm not in this shit. And a lot of people will tell them, nigga, you ain't in this shit.
Don't come in this stuff. I tell them all the time, don't come in here.
Yeah, and that's probably accurate. That's probably good advice.
I tell them all the time. Even the PhDs, I tell them that, don't come down in the cesspool, man. Don't get dragged down into this shit all the time.
Even though one vision I have for the space is that people could, like, just like a Lead Attorney described, come into it at an angle. Whether you got a political angle, a finance angle, a legal angle, long as we all generally see the same thing, see the same problems, and got some similar goals, and we're Black men, and we're exchanging information, I would like it to work like that, but I see now it don't.
What I'm saying is I was listening to your podcast, an excellent podcast, by the way, about the guys coming in that are anti-Black Manosphere, pretending to be Black Manosphere, right? The inside attackers, right? Yeah. And they claim to be on the left. Right? But they had the same rhetoric and the same complaints that the people on the right do. Exact same complaints. So I don't know where this right and left comes in at, or where this conservative versus liberal comes in at, right? We're all talking the same shit. Hold on.
When you say complaints,
can I
specifically,
let him finish.
Okay, can I finish? I just I don't like that's one reason I don't like coming on panels like this, especially panels like this, right? I can't talk like a minute and a half without getting interrupted. Okay. In other words, Bernard knows what I'm talking about, right? Because he was just on that panel. Was there anything different that they were saying? They actually complaining that you guys weren't conservative enough, right? Not enough skills and resources, not enough about pulling up by your bootstrap, not enough independence, right? They were saying the exact same things. They're trying to actually out conservatize you guys, even though they claim to be on the left. But they're not. Okay. In other words, we claim this right and claim this left, and basically it's all bullshit. Okay. Because I'm listening to it, and when I said I listen to what the real conservatives, the actually neoliberals and neoconservatives, and all these folks actually really say. Okay. And it doesn't line up with what we say in here. It really doesn't. I've actually studied this.
So BGS, respectfully, we have to agree. How you doing? It's Sir Tice. We have to agree with them to be so. I've never necessarily directly claimed conservative per se, but we all have to have the same arguments. How does that make any sense?
In other words, if you're going to claim the moniker, okay, where did the definition of it come from? Okay.
All conservatism means is that you espouse the traditional values, and I would like to know what the hell is wrong with that.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Okay, no, BGS, because you actually kind of, and this is all respect, but you did jump the line in front of me or what have you, and you don't make it like all the panels are always chaotic. But I distinctly remember, I distinctly remember one time you were on here and you were asked directly of who you voted for, and you said you wrote in Kanye West. You recall that?
Okay. Yeah, I really recall that. You know why? You know why?
No. But let me finish my question.
Do you know why?
No. Let me finish my question. I'm not finished my question.
Okay.
My point to that is you're smart enough to know that all politics are local, right? So
no, it's not.
Really? Really? So when we complain about when guys, and by the way, I don't have children, but by the way, happy pre-Father's Day to all you gentlemen. But when guys complain about child support, the courts, and all that, Are prosecutors not elected officials? Are judges not elected officials? So we're trying to say we should just throw away the ballots, and you're saying politics isn't local?
It depends on what state that you're in, and sometimes they're elected and sometimes they're appointed. Okay, depends on what state you're in. Okay. Make.
Hold on, let him go. Let him hold on. Wait, let him go. Let him go. Tice, you asked him a question.
You asked if you're gonna ask the question, at least let me answer.
I did. You're basically saying you're basically advocaking for brothers to just throw away.
No. Did you ask me a question?
I did. Go ahead. Go.
Did I answer it for you? Okay.
No, you didn't fully.
And I said all politics is not local. Okay, because
let's substantiate that. Go ahead.
If that was the case, then the federal funds that go into your school system would not affect your school system, but it does. All politics are not local. Your federal, even your child support laws and child support judges are actually influenced by the federal funds that come from the federal government, from your federal taxes, right? All politics is not local. If you look at the Supreme Court weighing in on abortion, weighing in on civil rights, weighing on whatever, right? All your politics is not local. It's all combined, right? There's different levels, but it all affects you the same way. Even your international politics affects you, right? Look at your inflation rates, okay? That's international politics in effect. All politics is not local.
Hey, Sir Tice. Hey, just really quickly, federalism or whatever was supposed to circumvent the federal government from having as much power as it does now, because we attach temporary dollars to permanent things. So No Child Left Behind, the education stuff ballooning up. We spend all this money and the kids are still reading terribly. And it's a problem. I agree what BGS said, but I think it would have been more effective, Sir Tice, if you had said that the local politics affects you more on a day-to-day level.
That's what I was going to say, but that's what I was going to say. I was going to get at basically, and let me just say this briefly because this was my main point why I came up. The reason I don't think the Manosphere is necessarily conservative. And I think the main reason, even though Black people claim to have traditional values, the main reason that many people don't want to wear the conservative jacket is because of the negative connotation that it brings. Simply put, conservatives are seen as the racists and things of that nature. It's simple as that. But I say, BJ, let me address this directly to BGS.
Okay, you keep calling my name. Go ahead.
No. I'm going to get into this way. I'm addressing this directly to BGS.
Okay.
BGS, when you look at things like Black people have had in major cities political offices since the early 70s. And as a collective, we've basically, voted mostly on the left. And now definitely 50 years, but going into 60 years later, the situations are worse than they were 60 years ago. So my point is that what has been the benefit of voting that way? And let me be clear, I'm not saying that Black people should just immediately go vote right. What I'm saying is that Black people should be more about, hey, what are you going to do to earn my vote? Versus, well, we ain't going to talk to those. Okay, thank you. We ain't going to just talk to the conservatives because they racist. And we vote for Maxine Waters over and over.
Sir Tice, you ran past the question. You said what has been the benefit of voting that way?
He wants to make a statement. Let him make a statement. I'm not.
Go ahead.
No. I'm not. Continue, man. You're not. Get it out, man.
No. My point is that. Okay, here. The short answer. What a short question. What has been the benefit, and why can't we look at things in the way of earning the vote versus, oh no, they got nothing to offer us, them evil conservatives, or them coons and all these goofy labels, when clearly most of the guys who are conservative here are intelligent guys who can look through both things. Why is that? Why do you think that? And
you got more, because I don't understand what the question is. Because
the question is that what have we got? What have we gotten for voting left? In case, another thing, it was the left who advocated.
Sir Tice, listen. Hold on, wait, Sir Tice, let me say this.
Finish it.
Let me say this. It sounds like you probably been wanting to, have a little back and forth with BGS for a while, but you don't got to try to get it all in one question or one paragraph. Just ask one question.
What has voting for the left gotten us, and why do we still advocate for it? and you seem to advocate for it at times.
Okay. Okay. Are you done? Is that the question?
We got it. We got the question.
Is that the question? I want to make sure because every
I'm
time
on
I
mute.
start
I'm
up,
on mute, BGS. I'm on mute.
Okay. Okay. Look, just civil rights alone is lefty, right? That's socialism, right? So you think it's an ugly word, but it isn't, right? Okay. If you left it up to white people, okay, and you left it up to right conservatives, they throw it back to the 50s. You want to go back to the 50s because that's where you're going to go back to, where they can discriminate against you. They can
So I would like to go next when this guy is
Oh,
done.
Let him go. Let him go. Let him go.
Okay.
Let him talk. Let him talk, man. Come on now. Let him talk. Go ahead, BGS.
In other words, if you want to give back your civil rights, if you want to give back your affirmative action as little as we gotten, if you want to give up that kind of stuff, man, go ahead, man, throw it back. If you want to give up your legal protection under the law that you didn't get for 100 years, you finally got it in 1964, your voting rights, all that kind of stuff, 8-hour work week, just go ahead and give it up, man. Just say, you know what, I'm gonna throw it back to the market and let the market do what it wants to. I'm gonna let white people be white people. They can be as racist or as prejudiced as they want to be, and the government has no stay or stand in to actually do anything about it. If that's what you want, go ahead and go for it. Vote right.
That's all. I'll let the brother go. I'll let the other brother.
That's
go.
all. Okay. I thought that would be enough. Go ahead.
Can I go?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see,
Whoever
this speaks to the ignorance of the male that votes Democrat.
Mm-hmm.
Because the brother brought up, if you want to give back your civil rights and all of that. Well, if you knew the history, you would understand that bill was signed under a Democratic president, pushed by the conservatives. When you look at the votes, the Democrats were not for that. You had more conservatives vote for that than Democrats. So to sit there and say, you want to give it up and this and that, all the fear mongering talk, when you're not educated on history, all you're doing is fear mongering. Because when you look at the history, Democrats did not want all of that. It is the Democrats that fought against that. And furthermore, there was no party switch. Negroes switched. The Negroes switched when civil rights was passed under a Democrat president, and because they were not educated enough to look deep into who did what, they decided, the Democrats are our friends and we love them. And so they started voting for them constantly, receiving nothing and not standing on anything and asking for anything, being sure that their vote garnered them something. So I think we really need to look into history as to who has done what and where has certain things came from. Because I could tell you, I look at black folks under Democrat cities, and I look at black folks under Republican cities. And you know the stark difference that I see? The black folks under Democrat cities, a lot of them are in poverty. And the ones that are in Republican states, they're doing for themselves and they're doing well.
All right.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. Yeah. Basically, if you understand, I didn't call parties. Republican and Democrats has nothing to do with conservative or liberal. Okay. Okay. The person that I actually gone over this, right? I actually understand the history, right? Hers actually pushed civil rights was actually who? Republican. He was actually general underneath who? FDR. They were socialists. Okay. They're Fabian socialists. The Republicans actually favored socialists. Even President Nixon was a Fabian socialist. Okay. Party has nothing to do with it. The guy that you have in office right now is not a liberal. Never has been. He's a Democrat. He's a red dog Democrat. He's a conservative, a hardcore red dog or blue dog conservative. He's not a liberal.
Hold on.
He's a Dixiecrat, to be honest.
Joe Biden, who just had the transgender nipples on the White House lawn, is a conservative. You are amazing.
Yes, he is. He's actually a neocon, believe it or not. He doesn't care. He doesn't care about that. What he cares about is actually what something that he cares about NATO, which is something that what's his name tried to kill back in the 50s because it cost too much, right? Okay, but he's a socialist. He's the one that actually pushed civil rights. He's actually one that pushed integrating the schools because a Democrat refused to do it, right?
Wait.
Joe Biden, the guy who didn't want the racial jungle. I'm not sure.
You're not understanding what I'm saying, okay?
Okay, make me understand.
The initial president actually pushed for integrating the schools. He's not Democrat, but Republican. They actually pushed civil rights, integrating schools, all that kind of stuff. And the Democrats actually carried on the same program. It's called an agenda, neoliberal. What is it? A Fabian socialist agenda, right? Which changed after Nixon, after the gold standard went off, right? And everybody since then, including your Democrat, what's his name, Clinton. Okay, Clinton was not a liberal. Okay, never was. That's how come he stripped all the socialist programs, the socialist what is it called FDR programs out, and threw everything to the market. Okay, just because you're a Democrat doesn't mean that you're a conservative or a liberal.
All right, hold on, wait. I want to get Hood Service responded. I had to mute Hood. You had to your echo came back, so that's why I muted you up when BGS was talking. But I want to get your response because he was responding directly to you. So go ahead.
No, yeah, there's a lot. There's so much. So let me just try to take it one chunk. When you say that your initial opening statement, when you were saying both sides in the Black Manosphere have the same thing, so these guys who call ourselves conservatives or the guys who are openly leftist, we have the same complaint. That's not really the issue. The issue is the solutions to it. And so now when you kind of make this long segue through all these other questions and you get to the reality, which is, it's not so much that the left or the right from a simple point. It's a larger scheme that's at work, right? So there are people who want this to happen. This is why you and I disagreed before about what. BGS, hold on. This is why you and I disagreed about before. This whole thing is just living in modernity. It's not living in modernity. You just told me the Fabian socialists wanted. So don't ask me where my evidence is. It's your evidence.
No.
My evidence is your evidence.
No. Where's your evidence?
My evidence is your evidence. You just told me the Fabian socialists want this. And so that's why I said living in modernity.
What I said.
Hold on. You're interrupting me and I let you rock so much. You're interrupting me and I let you rock. I didn't interrupt you and you specifically told me to chill and I chilled. So as you said
correctly though.
As you mentioned, the Fabian socialists, who are neither Democrat or Republican, apparently, they have an agenda. And the whole reason I said that living in modernity doesn't necessarily mean you get feminism. It's because the Fabian socialists have an agenda, which you clearly understand. That was a simple point. And then when you talk about this conservative versus liberal thing in the manosphere, we are upset with your socialism. The thing that you say is not the problem is the thing that both sides of the manosphere are apparently complaining about the outcomes of. The socialism that you say is so useful and beneficial, it's making relationships with women, which means it's making family formation null and void. So is it really worth it?
Damn. Go ahead, BGS. BGS.
While he's getting his technical things ready,
hold on.
Well, what part of socialism do you actually want to get back? If you actually study what socialism actually is, what part of socialism do you actually want to get back? If you actually know what it is.
Well, we could start with women's equality. We can negotiate some of that away.
Okay, you want to start with women's equality, right? Which is actually laissez-faire liberalism, which goes back to Locke and the social contract, which you got your rights from, which the whole capitalist system actually built on the same social contract that's actually came out of France under Rousseau. Okay. So what part do you want to still get back?
Hey, that's a non sequitur. The social contract of Locke's day is nothing like what we have. So if you say give back, and if you're going to mention Locke, then let's have Locke's social contract of his day, if that's how you want to play the game.
In other words, that's what it's built on. Locke said men and women should have equal rights. Okay, the same kind of rights to everything that everybody.
No. I said the contract of his day. No. What were they living under of his day? What was the contract of his day?
It was actually patriarchy that died. Right.
Thank you. Yes, I know.
What I'm saying is, how was the social contract built, and what thought process was it built on? Okay, and that's what you're living under now.
But it's a bastardized version. It's a bastardized version of everything.
How so?
It's bastardized because you can't force equality. Women's equality automatically denotes men have to do something in order to make them more equal. That is a subjugation on its turn on its face. That is a subjugation for the sake of equality.
You can force equality if you want to. You can't.
No, you can, but that's exactly what men are complaining about in the black manosphere. So when you say socialism is so good for us, I'm like, is it really worth it?
I didn't say socialism is so good for us. I said that's what you have.
No, and you're actually up here trying to extol the virtues of it. So now you're backing off the point.
No, I'm not. No, what I'm saying is there's trade-offs, right? I talk about conservatism. What part of it do you want? In other words, if you want to give up
the trade-off is slavery. That's the trade-off, slavery. Yes.
Thank you. It's simple.
Why does slavery no longer exist for the most part?
Slavery still exists. I'm gonna have some slaves. What you talking about?
Where? In the United States? Where?
In the United States. Just because they rebrand you as an essential worker doesn't mean you're not a slave.
Okay.
Listen.
Can you quit?
Listen.
Can you quit?
Listen.
Can you quit?
In order for women to have power, they have to be empowered. That's all they talk about is women empowerment, which means men have to be depowered, which is fine in the name of equality, except they don't have any, they have the authority without responsibility, which means that you have to go clean it up for free, which is slavery.
They don't clean up for free. You have to. People pay for it. The whole system pays
for
it.
Well, I would agree. It's not.
See, now we're back to money isn't real. This is the shit I was complaining about initially. People believe money isn't real. The whole system just. You weren't here for that, but it's just something I was just pointing out how certain people act like as if money just appears when you need it, because apparently the whole system will pay for things. No, somebody somewhere is going to have to pay for it, and the way this system is structured, it's going to be the regular guy who doesn't really get a say.
So what is money really? What is money?
Money is what a dollar bill is a simple. It's a simple exchange of currency. A dollar bill symbolizes a certain amount of value. It used to be tagged to the gold system. Now it's literally just fiat currency. So a dollar bill means whatever the government tells you it means.
What is money? What is money really?
Whatever the government tells you it means, bro.
Money is a tool to exchange for goods and services. That's the definition of money.
So what is the real?
It's supposed to be a store of shared value. That's what it's supposed to be.
It's a medium of exchange, right?
Well, when you exchange value for value, it's a show of stored.
And then you actually allot the value of labor, goods, or services on by denominated in what? In dollars and cents or money, right? Okay. How do you and if you want to barter, how do you barter, right?
Value for value. If I have bread, you have milk.
I can't give you a chicken for a cow, right? Because it costs too much money to actually raise a cow, right? Too much.
Yeah, but you can give me 80 chickens for a cow.
Wait, hold on. Wait, real quick, y'all. I want to see where BGS is going.
In other words, that's what money is a medium of exchange. You actually look at the barter system in small communities, and as they grow, it gets harder and harder to actually evaluate labor and services and goods, right? So it have to have a medium of exchange that people will actually accept. That's money. Okay, whether it's gold, whether it's silver, whether it's cowrie shells, whether it's copper, whether it's dollar bills.
BGS, hold on, forgive me. When I say you're making a statement as if money isn't real, it doesn't mean you get off the hook by explaining the history of money. You're acting like people are just okay. So now, thank you for saying that out loud. What did I just say earlier, gentlemen? Thank you. So now that you're saying money isn't real,
yes.
So when you imagine that black people's requests are just going to get printed because money can be printed into oblivion, and there will be no downside to that because money's not real.
They did it for the banks. They did it for COVID.
Okay.
Why not you?
Hey, but
I hear you, bro.
Why not you? They ran a credit card. Why not run the credit card on you?
we gonna be like Zimbabwe though? I mean, like somebody
Right.
has to be fiscally conservative at some point in
No,
time.
just because money as a concept is something, it's literally a social construct, right? I get you when you say money isn't real, like it's a little bit higher IQ than I make it sound, but here's the problem. Financial theory actually means something. The financial theories play out in people's lives. So to say money isn't real doesn't actually mean nobody's going to suffer. It doesn't actually mean there won't be like Zimbabwe or Germany levels of inflation after World War I. Like these things actually have happened. So when you ask me like, where's my evidence about stuff? People have lived through the evidence.
Which financial theory are we talking about?
Oh my God!
Okay,
the idea of inflation.
Which one? Which
No,
one?
no, we're talking about the idea of socialism.
Inflation is a financial theory.
Right. And so the consequences have been proven over and over and over again. What more do you need to see?
Okay, the gold system. You know why the gold system didn't work, especially after the industrial age, is because of population. Okay, the population couldn't grow. That's where inflation. That's why you have 2% or 3% inflation.
Wait.
You are an artful dodger, bro. You are dodging so artfully.
Hood, chill.
Yeah.
Listen. You can't finish because you haven't answered the question. You said
what was the
that
question?
Socialism is the key, and then you start talking about money isn't real.
I didn't say that.
Yeah.
I didn't say that. Money is not real. Prove that money is real. Prove that money's real. Prove it.
Money is a tangible object.
Can I bring it back? We're in a rabbit hole.
No, it's not.
Well, BGS, let me ask you this briefly.
No. Let's get back to it.
Okay.
Money is a tangible object. You have some in your pocket. Don't ask me to tell you how a tangible object is real.
Okay, let me ask you.
What I am asking.
Hold on.
Go ahead, ask me.
When you use your debit card, is your debit card dollars and cents?
Well, the debit card itself is a tangible object. It's represented by the ones and zeros, the binaries, right?
It could be a stamp on your hand.
This nigga BGS is doing witchcraft right now. Yo, why y'all going?
He's rambling just to ramble.
I am not a light-skinned girl, bro. I swear to God, I understand what words mean.
I'm answering at 5 questions at once, and I'm rambling.
You're not. You haven't answered one question.
You
act like I'm a girl because girls can't count. I understand what money does.
Which question have I not answered?
No.
Which question have I not answered?
The initial question that Hood asked you.
What's that?
Was when he asked you about capitalism, you said, man, what would you take away from socialism? Because socialism is how we got our rights, which is not true. That's how women got their rights. The Voting Rights Act was how black women got their vote because we had it since 1865.
How do you
know what I'm saying?
How do you get your vote? How did you get your vote?
The vote came from legislation.
No,
it didn't come from socialism.
No, it did.
What do you think the 13th Amendment is? That's legislation.
It's legislation, but it's a socialist.
That wasn't socialism. Socialism didn't come out until the Great Depression.
No. The socialism actually.
Oh my God, I hate colors.
No. Listen. No. Go back. Research socialism. Okay. When was Marx born? When was Marx born? Marx was born as socialist.
What about socialism says black men get their rights?
One question at a time. One question at a time. One question at a time. Okay.
Wait.
Marx was born
one question at a time.
This is not the BGS. This is a general statement. Like people go to Marx like he was some kind of like just this positive figure and like he was a theorist. Why in the hell are we using the theory from a failure, an abject failure in his own lifetime? Even his friends talked about his failure.
Can I add to that? Without Engels,
but his name is still around. What 200 years later?
Yeah, because wait, hold up, Dirty. The reason why his name is around is because it is a theory that people want to imagine to be real and to work, and so they're going to cudgel anything they can to make this thing work.
Okay,
and it doesn't.
Go look up, go to Investopedia and see what kind of economy that you have. Okay, is it a capitalist economy?
Well, it's a mixed economy.
What is it mixed with?
I mean, there's some social elements. It's capitalism. No, I'm not the one making the effort of like socialism like is purely bad or purely good. Just like capitalism isn't purely bad or purely good.
Okay.
A system is only as good as the inputs or the people that take the system. And if you don't check anybody in the system, a la the whole voting thing, if you don't check your elected officials locally or federally, guess what? You have this run out of control crap that we got right now.
So what are socialist policies that you want to give up that you have in the United States? That's what I'm asking.
Well, I'm willing to trade. I'm willing to trade some stuff, but I'm not willing to trade freedom. I'm not willing to trade freedom.
So do you want to go back to what even the communists actually using this, which is not a socialist policy, 996, well, basically 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. That's enforced by the employer without overtime.
Why did you even bring that up out of nowhere?
I didn't.
See,
not out of nowhere. It's not out of nowhere.
BGS, when I initially asked you,
No. I'm asking the guy a question. Do you want to give that up?
But this is the
I answered your question. Answer mine.
Wait, who's that addressed to? Is that addressed to me?
The guy, the idea, whoever brought up socialism. Do you want to give up the socialist policy? That one, just
yeah. But I didn't necessarily bring up socialism. You asked me what kind of economy it was, and I told you it's a mixed economy.
So
you said mixed with what?
Socialism is in your economy already. It's been that way since
fall for it.
1850.
Okay. But that doesn't mean it's good.
Well, look it up.
Hey, nepotism's in the economy too. That's not good.
Yes, these are all the things we're complaining about. BGS. Yes, you're right. It's in the economy and it's bad.
Wait, time out. Let me ask BGS this question, because I notice we keep going back to, like, whenever it sounds like we're about to get somewhere in the discussion, it seems like you end up saying, okay, but do you want to go back to this time before we had rights and before we had freedom? And it seems like it's a lot of daylight between modern socialism and Jim Crow. Like, it's a lot of daylight between that. So if they're talking about, certain things that the left is pushing and that's not beneficial for black people, I'm sorry, I got background noise going on. If there's a certain thing that the left is pushing that's not beneficial for black people, can we get rid of those things? Getting rid of those things doesn't mean that we're going to be back in Jim Crow. It's like, so, but if you keep going, you keep taking us back to Jim Crow.
How do you know? How do you know?
Well, hold on a second, BGS. What he just said caused it.
Okay.
Yo, you really try to punk niggas,
wait. Can I answer?
You really try to punk niggas though, like you really. The white man gonna get you. Go see if the white man. How about we go see?
Study it for
no. Let's not study. Let's do. Let's do, because there is no study. There's only do, bro. There is nothing to study. We are not gonna do the past and the future, BGS.
Well, let's do the future. Let's do the future. Go ahead and do the future.
Right. So you're gonna punk us with the white man every time we say something you don't like.
Let's do the future right now. Let's look toward the future.
No, listen, I refuse to live my future getting punked by the white man, bro.
Let's go ahead. Look toward the future.
No, I'm not going to the future with you. No, I'm not going to the future with you. No, you stay your ass in the past, nigga. You stay your ass in the past, bro.
All right, y'all, chill. All right, chill.
Who's scared? Listen, BGS, your whole pitch is fear. Your whole pitch is fear.
You're scared.
BGS, hold on. Don't you want me to be scared? Isn't that your whole pitch? The white man gonna get you? Isn't that your whole pitch?
I don't care.
So now you're scared. You want fear.
White people at once. What question you want me to ask?
Nah, you're brave for doing this. It's cool, but listen, you want fear. Everything you say is about us being afraid.
Don't be afraid. I don't care.
All right. Let me push pause on it. And then to be fair to BGS, he is right. It is like 5 or 6 or so against one. So I do want to make sure that we give him ample time to speak. But so I think we went far as we can go where he was at, and trying to bring
order. I'll drop off, man. Order will come back.
No.
I'm gonna leave.
I don't want you to leave. I do want it to be orderly, even though understand it's gonna, people gonna get amped up, and I'm trying to calm things down, but at the same time, I'm gonna fail. I'm gonna fail at that because
you know what, Bernard? I get the same bullshit from the leftists. The same shit I get here. Same stuff.
Because you don't pick a side.
I got you.
Chill for a second, okay? I get the same bullshit from the left. I got the same shit from FD Signifier, saying trying to sell that feminist intersectional bullshit, right? I get the same shit. Okay, that's why I know I'm actually in the middle. It gets shot from both sides.
Yeah, but BGS, how do you
pick a side?
Come on, Dirty. Let me.
I don't have to pick a side.
But
then sit. I'm gonna lay you down. You're gonna get down and lay down. If you ain't pick a side,
say what?
I'm saying as a general construct. And this is why I gangbang and I don't roll with the blacks. I roll with the gangs. Listen, logos over everything.
I'm in LA. You know what I roll with. So what?
All right, logos over everything. Then you pick the side. If you in LA, you pick the side. Well, goddamn, you should. Anyway, here's the point. I'm not against you. As a matter of fact, I'm not cammed up because I'm grilling. I'm really just enjoying the conversation, except you keep moving the goalposts.
No,
you're annoying. Yes, you are.
Okay.
You'll say no. You'll say socialism, right?
Sir Tice. If 5 people actually,
hold on a second, that's not Sir Ty speaking. That's dirty folks.
Dirty folks.
That's dirty folks.
No, I can't.
That's dirty folks.
I can't.
All right, I'm gonna drop that down so the names will show up. Drop all that. Yeah, let's move the banner so the names can show up so you can see who he's addressing.
I don't know who's talking. So
I'm gonna put the names up. I'm gonna put the names on the board. Okay. Just give me a second.
No. He can actually tell me who's talking because I don't know who's
dirty folks is talking. But go ahead, bro.
Dirty folks basically. If you have 5 people talking, actually 5 different questions, is that moving the goalpost?
No, because each question is trying to bring you back to center of what you just said. So if you say socialism is good and people say how you gonna pay for it, and your answer is money ain't real, motherfuckers still gotta pay for it. So we still answer like
there's 2 different questions from 2 different aspects. They're not the same question.
All right. I'm gonna pass it to Little Big Nate, and let's
be nice, Nate.
Bro, I came up when BGS was here before. I didn't attack BGS. I don't come up here to attack people.
No.
You came up here to attack me, bro.
I know you left. I didn't come up here to attack you. When you was
no,
Nate, hold on, wait, time out, y'all. No, Nate. When you left, you was on 10. I'm just here's just hoping that you good. You good now. You calm down. You cool. You cool. All right. So,
bro, cool. I'm cool, man.
All right, cool.
When you're planning to attack people.
All right.
Let's go. So, to BGS, the reason you might be getting attacked from both sides is because you won't pick one.
Okay, good.
You should possibly just pick one.
No, I won't.
You know what I'm saying? It's just a suggestion. But I want to help give some information. The modern day conservative movement was founded in opposition to FDR and the New Deal.
Exactly.
Republicans, conservatives, businessmen, religious leaders, they all combined because they wanted to conserve the state of America, free market capitalism. Do I agree with some of the programs that came out of the New Deal? Sure, Social Security, I think, is a good program, but it is doomed on its face because it's run by the federal government. If it was put into the private market, yeah, there'll be wins and losses, but it would be a lot more stable. Because right now there's nothing but a bunch of IOUs there. Last time you were up here, you asked me how far do you want to push things to the right? Okay. And I told you I want to continue pushing until we get back to respect for natural law in the divine order of things, regardless to whether you believe in a God or not, or what that God is. Okay. There is a divine order to things.
So explain it to me.
Well, sure. Man is man.
Okay.
Woman is woman.
Okay.
Women can have babies.
Okay.
A father and mother should be in the household, or a father and several mothers, however you want to play it out.
Okay.
But there needs to be both representatives of both sexes in the household raising the children.
Okay.
Fathers should lead their households. Capitalism is a magnificent tool for the building of families and communities, because a man goes into the marketplace because, man's nature is to want to compete against other men, of course. Mm-hmm. But another element of that is a man's desire to provide the best for his family.
Okay.
All right. And capitalism is the ultimate expression of your ability to possibly give your family the best of opportunities.
Okay. Can I ask you this, Big Nate?
Sure, go right ahead.
Guess what system took the women and children out of the home?
Oh, I can tell you.
Who was that?
It was a plan by the CIA and Gloria Steinem.
No. Before that.
Capitalism didn't take women out of the house.
Yes, it did.
It did not.
Yes, it did.
Would you like me to explain, sir?
No. But I want you to prove it, because we've actually.
That's me asking you. Do you want me to explain?
Go ahead, explain it. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. The CIA recruited Gloria Steinem in the late 50s, early 60s. Right?
Okay.
Because they wanted to put her out front and promote the idea of bringing women into the workforce.
Okay.
Now, women, it wasn't capitalism that brought women into the workforce. Women, for the most part, were happy being at home, raising their children. There were TV shows about it. Leave It to Beaver, all sorts of TV shows. The culture facilitated the two-parent family, the father at work. Beautiful thing. So here comes liberalism. Here comes the Luciferian left with the deep state CIA and Gloria Steinem. Gloria Steinem, she admitted to being a CIA operative several times, comes out and promotes the idea of women moving into the workforce. Now, the CIA knows, there's other deep state elements in the government, the same people that killed Kennedy and have caused all sorts of horrible things to happen in our country. What they do is say, hey, we can double the receipts into the United States government if we pour women into the workforce. Not only because their ultimate plan is to take control, be able to manipulate your children. You take the women out the house. Who's teaching the children? Who's instilling the values of the father and the community into the children? Nobody is. The public school system is, daycare is, which is largely government funded for a lot of people, and leftist, liberal, popular culture. That's what's filling the head's children. No more the values of the father, the mother under his leadership. All that's gone. It wasn't capitalism that brought women into the workforce. It was a plan to increase the receipts to the federal government, to take women out of the household so women can be ruined, because the ultimate goal is to end the family, because family is an impediment to the control of a bunch of Marxist communists. You can't have family in Marxism. That's one of its rules. No family. Women are community property in Marxism. There can be no marriages, no families. Y'all talked about Marxism in Black America. Modern Black America is the most beautiful expression of Marxism there ever has been, ever. There are pictures of Herbert Marcuse, who came from Russia.
Frankfurt School.
The Frankfurt School.
Germany,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. Herbert Marcuse, who learned at the Marxist Engels School in Russia, comes to America and infiltrates and begins to teach radical Black leftist groups. There are several pictures of Angela Davis sitting being taught by Herbert Marcuse, a member of the Frankfurt School. Their plan was, quote, they planned for the workers' revolution to spread throughout the world and spread Marxism. All right? It didn't work. Capitalism is flourishing. They're angry. They know that war is about to break out across Europe. They get the fuck out of Russia, come to America, and they wrote, their plan was to begin to foment anger in groups like homosexuals, Blacks, and other, I can't forget exact word, but other angry minority groups.
Yeah, basically divide and conquer. Everything's used like a Trojan horse in this.
Let me ask you this. Right?
Yes, sir.
Do you actually understand what happened in 1804 with the custody of infants?
No, why don't go ahead and explain it to me.
In other words, the women, the capitalists actually brought the women out from the home into the factories, women and children. Okay, according to the plantation model in the United States. Okay,
what percent? Can I ask you a question? What percentage of women were brought into the workforce in 1804?
60%, and children.
60% of American women were working in factories? I got to check that out.
Northern European, okay? That's what capitalism
Whoa. Was that Northern Europe or America?
In America, too. Go look at it.
60% of the women were working in factories in 1804?
Yes.
I'll check it out.
Go look it out. Go look. That's where feminism actually started. That's what's actually started.
Well, that's kind of why feminism is a lie too, because they said women never could work or whatever. The thing was, a lot of people were just thrown into these places like meat grinders, essentially. Like children were working in mines and stuff like that.
In mines and factories and stuff like that. What I'm saying, go research the history of this stuff. Just don't guess at it. Go.
What was the name of that thing?
Go further back and actually look at this stuff.
Okay.
What was the name of the thing you said in 1804, please?
The 10 Years Doctrine, 1804. Okay. And didn't finish Caroline Norton in 1839 with the custody of infants that she signed by Parliament. Okay, that's where America got the idea from. It's been in a common law ever since.
Okay.
Court of champions. Okay.
Now I want to.
The fact Desmond Anime was just in court over his custody battle just a week ago, right? And the judge said exactly the same thing that I'm saying. It's still there. The children do not belong to you; they belong to the state, and it's been that way since the Court of Chancery in 16. I think that's 1640.
Okay. Again, when we're
why
talking
haven't
about
we seen
socialism, we're
why
talking.
haven't
Yeah,
we seen
one at a time. One at a time.
good. You want to finish, Nate? Go ahead.
Yeah, real quick. Why didn't we see the tremendous breakdown in the family until the 1960s?
Until the 19, the thing is these are actually slowly evolving things, right? Things don't happen all of a sudden. And the breakdown of family in 1960, 1961 is because the effects of slavery and Jim Crow didn't.
I disagree, sir.
Now, what can I even finish?
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
You know, it's okay. Okay, if you want me to answer it, I'll answer it. Right?
Go ahead.
Okay, it's called Monahan's. Let's always go back to Monahan's scissors, right? Because if we actually trace it back to 1961, because Black women were not allowed to get the same kind of welfare and social support that white women were. It's coming from FDR in his widows his widows and welfare. FDR said it was only supposed to be temporary. It wasn't supposed to be for everybody, right? But the thing is, they finally gave it to Black women, and that's where you see the divide, because Black women never really wanted to be with you in the first place.
Now that I agree with. You finally said something I agree with. Black women never
thank you. A blind spot finds a nut, right?
That's even more reason to get rid of socialism, because I don't want to pay for a girl that don't want to be with me.
Right. Can we get back to this whole thing? Right. See, and I'm not saying we can just all get rid of it right away. I know it's a nice idea. That's what we're gonna do, but eventually.
Sure you can. If you're sure you can.
Yeah, we can, but listen, that's a whole nother conversation.
Just go to the capitalists and say, hey, we want to get rid of all the socialism and all the gains that we had. Socialism, just give it up. Social Security,
no, BGS,
public education, everything. Just give it all back.
We could talk about that, but here's the catch, and this is what when we're talking about something like Black Manosphere, and really Black America is this way, but the Black Manosphere, right? When you talk about this concept, and you can give it all up, right? You'll say something like, well, then let the racists win, and the racists are going to enslave you or something like that.
Bernard, when I first came up, what did I say about Manosphere in the left and right? What did I say?
That you said, if I remember right, you said they say the same things.
They're saying the same things. That's all I said.
Same complaint. But the solutions are different. And that's where I brought up later on the solutions. Yeah, the complaints are real, but the solutions are actually vastly different, because one side apparently wants socialism. And then now you've done a great job of going through almost the original history of socialism and explaining all the negative effects that Black people are suffering since the history of socialism.
Bernard, the leftists that came up on your panel yesterday, what were they actually claiming the way out was, if you remember?
I don't recall them claiming the way out. They were just on some destructive crab in the barrel nigga shit.
And in other words,
which is what they always do.
Skills and resources, right? Man up, bootstraps. Forget the women. Improve yourself, make more money. Skills and resources. Go. Start a business. All that kind of stuff, right?
If I could
interject, I'm asking you. Okay, I'm asking Bernard.
Okay. They mouthed those words, but the fact of the matter is they use skills and resources and all that as just their cover to just shit on the Black Manosphere. They're anti-Black male.
That is true. What I'm saying is the words that they mouthed, the stuff that they're on, the rhetoric that they're putting out sounds exactly the same as the right.
I know, but they're not putting that out from a liberal standpoint. They're putting that out from, they're basically saying, the only reason y'all have the critique that y'all have of women because y'all some broke basement dwelling incels, get your skills and resources up. That's just it's a disingenuous argument.
It might be, but what I'm saying is that's the argument. That's all I said. That's the argument that they're using. That's why
that's not their liberal argument. That's their I'm hating. That's not their liberal argument. That's hold on. I just want to say this. That's not their those aren't their liberal arguments. Those are their I'm hating on other Black men who are doing something on YouTube, probably getting better numbers than me argument. That's
to the uninitiated, they sound the same. Do
Well,
they not?
if I could, we can't define everything on the internet.
One second, please.
My bad,
real quick. The reason they're not the same, the reason they couldn't be more different than night and day, is because we don't vote with the women we criticize. We don't vote for the system that turned these women into the monsters they are today. We don't vote for the systems of welfare, the system of open borders, high taxes, transformer and LGBT madness everywhere, putting tampons dispensers in boys' bathrooms. Those guys vote for that stuff, yet criticize the women that they worship and follow in the political direction of. That's the difference between the two groups of men.
Okay.
Hey, really quickly. We cannot go by the layman standard at anything. So like I love how you made the differentiation earlier. I wanted to pull my hair out a little bit, BGS, but you know, I do respect like what you have to say. So like we have to actually figure out what the definitions are of stuff and not let somebody else frame whatever it is. So like the left, the right, this, that. I mean, because most of Washington is a uniparty anyway. You know what I'm saying? You have some divergence here and there, but those people are on the periphery. These people are going to the same cocktail parties and everything else or whatever. And in the end goal, you will all be indentured servants.
Well, what I would say in response to that, sir, is, and there was somebody that challenged me several months ago on this platform on this. Tell me who is purging the establishment Democrats? Nobody. Every 30-year establishment Democrat has been there. Nobody's challenging, nobody's purging. I don't care what anybody thinks about Donald Trump. Donald Trump and his MAGA movement are purging the Republican Party of its establishments. That's why the establishment in 2016, all over these Sunday shows, was saying vote for Hillary Clinton. Republicans, The Atlantic, all sorts of normal Republican magazines, vote for Hillary Clinton. The establishment is terrified of Donald Trump and the MAGA movement. 1/3 of the Freedom Caucus, the largest group of Republicans in the House, is now MAGA. 1/3. I understand black men's propensity to say, oh, both parties are the same. It's just not true. The Democrats are completely wicked and demonic, and so are the Republican establishment. The rank and file Republicans are largely just decent people that want to work, make their money. I've said before, I'm in the auto damage appraiser industry. I work in the body shop business in the South. It is nothing but redneck white men who are conservatives and Republicans. That's it. I never met a Democrat working in a body shop, ever.
So why do they elect the people that they elect?
Can I
piggyback
off that real quick?
What are you talking about?
I mean, they don't get it.
I can't hear BGS.
Hold on. I got you, Freeman. Just hold on, let them finish.
For me, Bernard. So why do Republicans actually elect the people that they actually elect?
Why do the rank and file Republicans?
Yes.
Because there's only two choices, unfortunately. And every American voter has to come to a decision. Am I going to hold my nose and vote for this guy? Or do I let the other party, which is now promoting pedoism and the destruction of human children?
There's a libertarian party, okay?
But there's two viable possible winners, unfortunately, because we've been conditioned.
Okay.
As a society, we're conditioned. I mean, it's Democrat, Republican. I'm not a Republican.
Yeah.
Nate, can I ask? I know that Freeman has to go, but BGS, let me ask you this. You've heard about Cornel West running, right?
Yeah, Bernie Sanders black. That's why.
No. I agree. You see the attack that's happening right now with him, with the Joy Reids and the Roland Martins, because some black men are going to vote for him, and they're looking at it from the perspective of you taking votes away from us. What are your thoughts on that? And this is
talking about Bernie Sanders. It because
what I'm saying. Nate says about the conditioning.
Okay. Let me know when your question.
No. My question is, what do you think about that? But I was just saying it ties into Nate and the conditioning that you better not vote for anybody but Democrat. But go ahead. What are your thoughts on
Okay, repeat the question because you kind of confused me.
Okay. I was saying that Cornel West is running, and you got a lot. He's going to get a lot of black male votes, and a lot of people are coming at black, or they will be coming at black men because they may vote for Cornel West, right? I'm not, but what are your thoughts on that? I'm saying that it goes into the conditioning, but do you have any thoughts on that?
I said he's Bernie Sanders black. He's a socialist. He's running in blackface as Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders couldn't get any traction. Maybe Cornel West actually can. I don't know. Okay, that's why I think of it.
Well, actually, Bernie Sanders was
Sir
going to
Tyson
win
sounds
until
like
Hillary cheated. Bernie Sanders was going to win in
Yeah, Hillary
2016.
did cheat. She cheated.
All right, so Sir Tyson, before I go to Freeman Jones, Sir Tyson, it sounds like you was more or less saying that the establishment Democrat is trying to discourage a black man from running because, like, we need the black male.
Is that the? I don't know. Was that the question? I don't know what the question was.
Is that what you're getting at, Sir
Jackson too? I mean,
is that what you're getting at, Sir Tyson? That was a simple
That's what
point.
I'm getting at, but I'll pass the mic.
Yeah,
okay. In other words, the Democrats or the neoliberal Democrats that are in office right now have done a deal with black women for power. Okay, that's what it is, and their power is through the neoliberals, to the white feminists, right? So they actually did a deal.
Wait, say that again. You said the Democrats did a deal with black.
Did a deal with black women and black intersectional feminists.
All right,
so
it seems like it should it seems like any black Manospherean should just be on code with just the universal message of vote in the opposite direction of that deal that they did.
It's called the Ice Cube effect. Remember, what's your name in Georgia? Okay, where black men were actually going the other way because they couldn't get any kind of policies in their favor. This policy over rhetoric, right? We don't care that you're Democrat. Policy first, right? That's the Ice Cube effect, right? That I actually vouch for. Yeah.
Okay.
I've been saying I've been on that since 1992. Policy first.
Okay.
I don't care who's
And there's niggas in the space who scream policy. Then when you tell them the policies of the right, the Republican Party that would benefit them.
All right.
Most of these niggas was Black Lives Matter hardcore a couple years ago. Don't act like I forgot. I ain't forget you niggas.
Okay. All right. Let me give Friedman in. Shout out to the people supporting the stream. I might not even get to. I'm up doing the building. I'm up doing the building. I do appreciate that super chat. Appreciate. I forgot. Damn it! I missed a lot of them. Yeah, it got SKC.
Read them, man. Go thank the people, man. They're paying for it. Thank them.
Okay, all right, yeah. When and I get a lively debate. Yeah, sometimes.
No. They're not going anywhere.
Right. Okay, anybody going though? Don't nobody go nowhere. Let me thank the people supporting the stream. Now I don't even know which one was it. Bring up the last one that I haven't read. Okay, hold on. Here we go. All right, SKC was the last one I haven't read. The answer to BGS question: why not you black people? You people. Because Black American has proven not to be worth the style of investment. I think he's talking about I think he was referring to when BGS was talking about the government comes up with money for everything else. Why they can't come up with money for black people? And hold on, wait. I want to get your response to what SKC is saying. Black people ain't worth the investment. What's your thoughts on that?
In other words, if they spend money on everything else, man. These wars, they spend money on all kind of bullshit, man. They spent money on 12 trillion because they made a mistake in China with that goddamn virus, right? Why not us?
His statement
why not?
Hold on. His statement is they've made the calculation that it ain't worth it to spend money on you niggas. That's his argument.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay,
I just love that your actual reserved and thought out position is there. Why the fuck not?
Yeah, why not? Everything else, why not?
All right, man. I'm with you. Why the fuck not? Listen, if pigs can fly, why not?
Why not?
All right. I am Jules in the building says Marx's theory works in small batches and along with capitalism. Look at the Mondragon in
Mondragon Catalan in
Mondragon Catalan. Yeah, okay, yeah. Throwing out stuff I don't know about. Or hell, what is that one?
The middle stand in Germany.
Mittelstand in Germany. It exists within the broader economy. I got nothing to say in response to that. You're over my head today. I am Jews. But thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. Osama Abdul again. He's saying let's get a BGS hood conservative debate on GBOT. God. That will, I don't know if BGS up for it, but that would be a good one. That would be a good one.
If he actually comes with sources and documents, I will. If not, I'm not interested.
All right. So you tentatively will accept the debate if he got sources and documents, and y'all do like they do.
What about me, BGS?
In some debates, they show the sources.
Who are you?
That's Little Big Nate.
If you come with sources and documents, that's fine.
Okay. Good deal.
All right.
He won't. He'll just yell.
Okay, I'm out.
Goddamn, OG.
Later.
Goddamn.
You let a man threaten me, Bernard, and then I can't come in. You let a fucking man threaten me. You let that little short fucker threaten me, and I couldn't say nothing, and you drop me down. Is that respectful?
I dropped both of y'all down.
No, you let him threaten me physically by shooting me in my face, and you didn't let me respond.
All right. I just heard two niggas yelling, so I don't know what
that happened. Like, yeah, I really didn't even know that happened.
Yeah, I clipped it. I got it clipped.
Oh shit! Yeah, play the clip. Put that shit out there.
You just came up and you ran off BGS too. But
well, BGS said what he needed to say. And just like I said, a lot of y'all wouldn't be able to understand a lot of that. Y'all didn't have no problem when. Wait. Listen. The guy that y'all hold up the most. The guy that y'all hold up the most. He was the person who put him in your face.
You done ran another person off, man. I really want
Kevin
to hear what
Sanders.
you had to say, man.
You heard what I said? The one that y'all called about KS. He was the one who groomed him and put him in your face.
Yo, chill out with that. We
did more for the Manosphere than any other single person.
What are you talking about, though? OG, what are we talking about? I don't understand right now.
Let me translate that to English. Hold on. Everybody chill. Let me try to translate to English what he's saying. He's saying basically Kevin Samuels, the one that we look up to the most. Everybody on this panel wouldn't really be a big fan of Kevin Samuels. So, but either way it goes, he was saying BGS was the one that brought Kevin Samuels in and got him in the space and basically and so forth and so on.
I
don't know why that's such a grand point. But Freeman's Journal, by all means, please come back. I do want to hear what you had to say on this. Simple Shit TV said $10 says BGS will ask another question, move the goalpost, and derail the conversation. Any takers? Thank you for the super chat. Do appreciate that. Osama Abdu saying let's get a debate. Okay, I already read that one. Freedman's Journal says what are you going to do? What are you going to do to get rid of is some utter BS. What are you going to get rid of statement. Altering welfare to limit benefits to one child is a modification and doable. BGS just derails. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. We also got William Cockram in the building. Says this is really fascinating. I certainly agree. All right, let's get back to it. We'll go to some new blood. Fuck it. Okay, let's go. No, you had already spoke, so in my mind you.
No, I did not respect. You let that man do a 30-minute. You let that man do it.
You didn't go yet. I'm letting you.
But you let everybody go before me, but nah.
I said I'm letting you go now. I'm letting you go now. You got it, OG.
Okay. Got it. See, this is where, like, if y'all really want to have a conversation, but then you have a person who comes up here and yell and call people all kinds of names, and then he expect people to respect him. If he has a point and he has information that he wants to give to us, he don't have to carry himself that way. See, this is the problem with him, is he always say, well, you don't like the way I said. Well, if you communicating to people that you want to hear you, and you screaming and yelling and calling names like some ninth grader, then this is what's going to happen. If your information support what you're saying, that's all you have to do is give your information.
Yeah, OG, I just want to put you on game. I hear whispers of a bounty being formed up against you.
Oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It won't be the first time. Tell them get in line. All right? It won't be the first time. Matter of fact, the bounty started over here, Fight Club. But anyway, so it's just like, this is why I say that when we have these discussions and then we start to act like ninth graders, and then it really takes away for the information that you're trying to give people, because you got to understand, now some of these people who do listen to Bernard, they're not like 40 and in their late 30s. There are young men who coming in looking for information. And if this is the best we got to offer, wait a minute. If this is the best we got to offer as far as people who supposed to be able to articulate and communicate what they're trying to get over by calling people N-words and this and that, and then you say you don't sound like a white conservative? Come on. What I was saying earlier, Bernard, was this. At one time, most black people was Republicans in this country. All right? Being a conservative, I think BJ said it well, black people have always conserved. We have always been the ones who want to conserve certain things, element. But when you start talking about the thesis of white conservative being conservative and black being conservative, you're talking about two different things. Yes, it has some of the same ingredients.
OG question, what are black people conservative?
Okay, again. Yeah. What I'm saying is, when people don't understand both of these parties are playing games with you, that's why you have two choices. The greatest thing a man can do to make somebody think they got freedom is give them two choices, and they don't complain.
Well,
so what I'm trying to
more than two choices.
Well, you know what I'm talking about. Well, that's all. Wait a minute.
Can I ask you again, though? What are black people conserving? Because you made a specific dichotomy between the white and black conservatism. So what are black? What is specific to black conservatism?
I'm saying, look. I'm talking about at one point of time, before these games started to be played, black people was very conservative. You could not go in the church and talk about LBG or homosexual, none of that in the 70s. You couldn't. And it's only when this game started to be played, both sides are playing a game, and that's what y'all don't understand. It's two wings on a bird, and both of them are flying in the same direction. The only difference between the Republican Party and the Democrat Party, I'm going to tell you exactly what the two difference. The Republicans want to kill you after you been born. The Democrats want to kill you before you're born and call that the A word.
Nigga, I'll take that deal. What the fuck wrong with you?
I know. Wait. I ain't gonna be your nigga neither. I ain't gonna be your nigga neither. I'm not gonna be your nigga neither.
All right.
My apologies.
You sorry? Okay.
I know you took it that way, so my apologies.
Yeah, I take it that way.
But still, dude, you acting like that's a bad deal, bro. Like, come on.
No, I'm not. No, listen, what I'm just trying to say. What I'm saying. In the end of the day, you still dead. That's the deal.
At the end of the day, anyway. Or the end of every day, you're gonna be.
Well, we already know that, dirty folks, and I hope your medication is working today.
Man,
let me get this in.
No, you already got in, and you ain't made no.
No. I'm not finished. Dirty folks, I'm not finished. Please, I'm not finished. You don't wrote 7 books. Wait. You don't wrote 7 books, and you're all over the place, so you should be tired of talking. Okay? So,
OJ, real quick, OG. Hey, go ahead. You taking shots, and you was talking about respect earlier.
No, I'm not taking shots, but these people. Wait. Number one, these people I'm taking shots at me. They've been taking shots at me ever since. I am the target of everybody. Wait. I am the target of everybody. So don't even try that.
Look, I'm not even targeting you. I'm just saying, like, look, just make.
But I'm just saying, when I came up here and they talking about taking a bounty, you think that's not a shot?
I don't.
You think when I came up here?
All right.
So what I'm saying, but no, I'm gonna end it up in this way. All right. Okay. So what I'm saying is, when y'all really sit down and listen to what y'all really talking about, in the end, somebody sitting up in the boardroom smoking a cigar, laughing at all this shit.
And they didn't want Fight Club on your ass.
Wait, before you drop them, because I see that super chat. Yo, this will be the first time, and I gotta say it while he's here.
This is madness. This is Sparta.
You don't get to say it while here. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. He'll hear me in the afterlife. He ain't gonna hear this many times, very many, many times. But I agree with that man. Everything that he said, and this gonna sound crazy, but he's right. He's right with everything he just said. As far as what he's talking about conservatism and black people in the time period that he's talking about, he's 1,000% correct.
Okay, but here's the thing.
And motherfuckers can yell all you want.
Let keep 100 lay it out. Let him lay it out.
Yeah.
No, he's actually correct. In the time that he's talking about, the way we carried our culture was very conservative. Shit has changed. They done divided and conquered with the liberalism and all of that. Like he said, the two parties, they playing games, and that's why we are where we are now. But we were very conservative people. I mean, Republicans love to use the fact that, black people were Republicans. Now y'all want to disagree with what the OG is saying? Like, come on, man. Like, it's a lot of flip-flop shit that be going on. And
ain't nobody disagreeing with him. Nobody disagree with that part.
No, the only one flip-flopping was him, bro.
All right, but I'm just speaking. Look, I just walked in the room. I heard the last little thing that he said, and I agree with it. The other thing that he was right about is, as far as how cats look, I just discussed this yesterday with all this Manosphere shit that's going on.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, you missed a whole lot when you just walked in the room. I swear to God, there's a reason for that. It's a reason why we acted the way we did.
Hey, wait.
But hold on, real quick. Keep it 100. Real quick, keep it 100. Right. You kind of the reason for the title of the topic today. Hood Conservative was watching you when you had said something about this space being conservative, or there's a certain amount of conservatism in this space, and then we wanted to explore that topic. So I'm glad you came up. But one thing I do want to tease out, what OG was saying, as I understood it, and I was doing some stuff and reading some, typing some, doing some shit in the back. But so what I think I understood what he said is that basically the Democrats, Republicans, they are racist, they are the same, shouldn't be on board with either one of them. Is that pretty much to sum it up what he was saying?
I mean, that's what I get from above.
You kind of borged a little bit. What'd you say?
I said I get that from it. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you good.
I kind of get that same sentiments from him. I mean, you guys have heard me say that a million times. What I don't like, right? And shout out to Hood and shout out to Nate. But y'all need to stop trying to sell white people as some all arms open, huggy motherfuckers when it comes to niggas, man. Stop that shit. Hold on. Now I'm gonna talk. And you could talk shit about me when I'm gone.
I don't talk shit about you, bro.
Well, pardon the way that I worded that, but Nate, you my guy. You know
you my dog too, bro.
Right? You know I fucks with you. I mean,
I can respond to what you said. What you finished?
Nah, we good. Sometimes that emotional diatribe, top of your voice shit ain't the best way to communicate, and I gotta agree with OG on that. And I don't agree with OG all the time, so don't make it like I'm coming in here caping for him. But
I would hope not.
The thing that I don't like a lot of times about black conservatives is they try to sell white people like they Mr. Rogers, and y'all kill that shit. Like they just love us, and they arms all the majority of white people, they just good people, and you sound like Trump when he's talking about the tiki torch people.
You ever met some tiki torch? They're very nice people.
I'm sure.
For real. Heroes and everything.
Let me know when you're done, Hood.
To be fair, I've never seen a tiki torch without gyros being served. So shout out to
that's pretty much all I'm gonna say is you're talking about two different plantations. Right now, when you say to me, well, the left is this and this and this and this, and they are all of that, what you're doing is you're making the same argument we used to make for the left. Vote for the lesser of two evils. So now the right is the lesser of two evils. And they're going to keep passing this football back and forth for niggas.
I have a different argument.
I'm good. That's my point. But stop selling white people like,
bro. I have a different argument.
All right. Let him. I want the card carrying conservative respond to him. So
real quick.
I want to hear Nate and Hood Conservative respond to that.
Real quick, Hood. I mean, keep it 100, dog. How many times have I been on Bernard's and said these white conservatives. I said they don't hate you. I never said they liked you. That's literally a quote from me. I said, what you need to understand is that they don't hate you. I said, I never said they liked you. I said they don't hate you. And the problem, when you come from the left, when you come from Democrat Party politics and being dominated, not saying you personally, but black men in general, being dominated and run by black women, you take on the characteristics of a woman in that you are preoccupied with who likes you. I've been in this space 4 years. The first time I was invited guest on Bernard Raleigh, the show was why I'm voting for Donald Trump. I kept saying, why do you care if white people don't like you? Nigga, I don't give a fuck if white people don't like me. It doesn't matter to me. If some white
most people
here
don't like each other.
We can be cool. Nigga, this is the problem. Niggas care too much. Shout out to Freedman's Journal. He said in the chat, niggas just want love. And that's the problem. On the right side of the political spectrum, we don't want nobody's love.
Not my problem.
All we want is opportunities. That's it.
That's not my problem.
Let me jump in real quick. The main reason that most men should actually consider splitting the vote for conservatives versus Democrats, right, is to make people vie for your vote. Make them actually give you something or try to earn it. Because right now they just see black men or black women as, you know, they own your vote, and that's the big thing. Some candidates I could say vote for, some I could say don't. Whatever. Figure out one, buy the policy. Oh, it's always on their website. If you can bear to do it, go meet them in person, talk to them, see if there's something that they can get you, you know, via the, you know, whatever federal funds are out there. Because a lot of these people will fund something if you have a plan and you have people behind it, and if you donate. So I'm not saying I am pro-conservative. I'm not saying I'm pro-Democrat. I'm saying get them to earn your vote.
Yeah, who's that talking?
That I agree with. I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna say this to Nate.
Who is that?
I said it.
The name's I Am Jews.
I am Jew. I agree with you, bro. Everything you said. I was kind of gonna say something similar. My issue with Nate's passion, and I like Nate. He's my favorite Southern Baptist preacher. But my issue is, I don't really have an issue. I have a caveat. There was a time in which white people didn't want stuff, and they created the Tea Party, which got absorbed by the Republican Party because they had conservative values, right? What I don't understand is why black men don't do the same. Not black people, because I don't care what women, gays, and felons do, but why black men don't adopt and say, this is our policy. We sit down, just a group of men, and be like, yo, this is what we need to be, all right, and then become a subsect and run Republican.
That's what the Manosphere meetup is about.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we're doing.
And dirty folks. The one thing it always takes is money.
Not to mention, Dr. T.S. Johnson is somebody who's doing that in his own way. He they got the agenda plan written out and everything. So that's being done. It just
because I say half the time.
I haven't rolled all the way out yet, but no, it's a thing.
There's something else. I want to address something else because I agree with all the things that have been laid out so far by the guy speaking before me, but this one thing I would like to kind of speak to directly and keep it 100. Yeah, I get what you mean. I think you're, you know, speaking a little bit in jest when you say it, but yeah, I'm trying to sell white people to black people. It is. Here's the problem that black people have.
I like the sound of that, selling white people to black people. Yeah, we need more of that.
Right. Listen, come on, niggas is afraid of the future.
How slavery work out, bro? You know, I'm pro-slave. How did it work out, bro?
I approve that message. I approve that message.
Here's the thing, though. All right, so what I think has happened over several generations is bigger than anybody on this panel right now. But basically, black folk have been sold a certain story about our place in this country, and we've been given an enemy. Like before you were born into the world, you were just sort of given an enemy. And I think you should actually stop and re-examine who your true enemies are instead of just fighting the war that you were born and bred to fight, because you might find out that the game works slightly different than you've been told. And as it pertains to white people, like, guys have already mentioned, you can work with them. They don't necessarily hate you. And the thing is, when it comes to how it's racism you're basically talking about. That's kind of the thing hovering in the background of this whole conversation every time white people get brought up.
Don't misrepresent what I'm saying. And let me
what do you mean?
Freedman's Journal, I promise I got you next. I promise I got you next. Go ahead, keep it 100.
And I'm going to say this, and I'm really out of here because I'm going to the movies. Nate,
what you going to see?
Transformers. I'm going to sneak in a bunch of other shit.
That's a liberal psyops. Transformers. It's another type of Transformers they got in that movie. Just so you know. I'm just playing. They'll pull some shit like that. No. All right, go ahead. Keep.
So Nate, we've been around this block already. I'm gonna say it again for today's conversation, since I've said it some time ago. I don't care who likes me or who hates me. I don't.
But you said I was trying to sell white people to you. I'm not doing that.
No, you got
to let him lay it out. Let him lay it out.
Okay, my apology.
The problem that I have is, at the end of the day, these are the people behind the policies that are made, and they're also the people behind how those policies are carried out. We discussed this already. We talked about stand your ground, which 9 times out of 10, black men ain't benefiting from that, right? When these Republicans make these laws that hold on. When these Republicans make these laws that you think will benefit black people in some equal fashion as it will them, when they carry them out, when they adjudicate them, they do not do so equally. So that's why it's important how these people feel about you, because the thing that the policies that you think is going to be handed out to you as an equal slice of pie when they get in office, it ain't going to be done that way. Okay. Byron Allen, his case is a huge example of what I'm talking about. Okay. And we can go on and on. Now, I ain't got time today, but we can go on and on about, you could tell me all this policy that Republicans want to give out.
No, I was going to go in that same direction.
Hold on. These are the same people that thought the Affordable Care Act that they was on, which they called Obamacare, they wanted to get rid of that, but they was taking advantage of it. But they thought Obamacare was for you niggas. And that's what they wanted to get rid of until they realized on. What they want is benefits for them and not for you. So when with that policy that they're pushing for, that shit ain't for you, bro. So stop. What I'm saying is stop selling it to me like I'm looking for a hug or anything like that. I'm talking about in terms of policy, in terms of what's going to benefit black people. These same motherfuckers is not giving you the equal slice of the pie that they're offering up in their campaign promises.
Sorry. No, I was there. No, because I was actually asking a question and I got interrupted, and I want to respond because I was going in that direction. I'm not even going to break stride, because when you talk about the policy game, here's the thing, man. I would rather be judged by 12 white male conservatives than 12 white liberal women. And what happens is your policy will be written and enacted by liberal white women and a bunch of fat baby mamas when it comes to the left versus the right, as far as you're concerned as a black man. And that's what you're actually up against. You're way more likely to run up against the feminist wall than the racist wall as a man, as a black man, double. So I don't buy the game that both sides are bad, but the left still got your back. No, the left hates you more because, one, you're a man, and then two, you've been oppressing the black women all this time. Nigga, you deserve everything they're about to do to you.
And the people on the right.
People on the right aren't trying to put your sons in a dress. Straight up.
Okay.
Let's go to Freeman. We got to go to Freeman. We got to go to Freeman. Thank you for your patience.
But no, thanks for having me up, bro.
No doubt. Anytime, man. Anytime.
No doubt. Peace, y'all. Peace, Hood. Peace. Nate, I'm out of here.
Salute, sir.
All right, go ahead, Freeman.
I don't even. Where do I start?
Pick it up. Whatever originally prompted you, man. Just take it. Just go somewhere. Yeah.
I'll just say this, man. Black people are programmed to be anti-white. I mean, that's really what this boils down to, right? All you have to do is make an allegory from there, not an allegory, but a link from being anti-white to something, right? The whole thing runs on on dog whistles, right? Republican, white. Texas, white, right? That's all you got to do. If you could convince black people toothpaste is white, to stop brushing their teeth. You understand? And that is why when you have these discussions, people come up here and they only have smoke for Republicans. And when confronted, they will say, well, I don't like Democrats either, right? They'll come up here with, you know, literally, you see that pattern time and time again. So
my mama says that.
That's really all it is. That's really all it is. So, you know, and that's why I guess, and the other thing, I kind of disagree with Little Big Nate on the voting. And I disagree because it's cultural, right?
Yeah. What about the voting? Did I say?
No. I'm going to explain that Democrats have adapted their political party to Black people's culture, right? The culture comes first. So the whole thing with Black people voting Republican is just, it's not going to happen, right? As more Black men are, but those are people that are coming to politics, right? Or starting to, like, they're either just coming in and they're younger, or they've been outside of politics and not voting, right? Because they see the movement on the ground, right? So they've been, you know, the left has been writing articles, you know, at least the past 5 years, talking about, hey, Black men are voting too Republican, right? They're not voting with the women, right? So that's been up there. And I love Jules's point about Black making them earn the vote, because the Black vote has no value, right? Black people have been voting for the Democrat Party for racism and magic beans since the 60s. Right? That's all you get. They tell you, they tell you who the enemy is, right? And you go out and, like, I'm voting against Republicans. That's why Black people loved illegal immigration, right? It was, hey, I'm gonna stick my finger in the white man's eye by being for illegal immigration. And now they're like, hey, wait a minute, I thought we were on the same team. And Latino's like, what team are you on? So that's the whole thing. So the Black vote has no value because it's given away.
Give it a minute, and you're going to see the Republicans figured out how to win without Black people. The Democrats are about to do that same thing, because now they got the Latinos, and they can figure out about 65% of them will vote for the Democratic Party. And if we're moving into the third pole position, money's going to matter more than your numbers.
Oh, Jules, here's the thing. Wait. Let me finish this point. So what you're saying, Jules, look, that's already going to happen. Pete Keisha happened when Stacey Abrams lost in Georgia, right?
Yep.
So now they got to, how do they get, that's why you see all this getting rid of baby mamas and upping the deposits on landlords and so forth and so on. They're going to flip, right? Black people, indigent Black people are going out and working at chicken plucking plants, and Latinos are going to come into the cities and rebuild these blue cities, right? Because they're the ones that have the skills.
Except
right?
for Florida, but largely, yeah.
So yeah, that's what's going to happen. So you already see it.
If you look at the voting trends of Latinos, they are breaking heavily Republican. There was a whole Turn Texas Blue movement, but in the last 2 election cycles, there have been districts that were Latino. 75% in 2016 voted for Hillary, and now they're voting solidly Republican. In the last 2.5 years, this demonic president has allowed in 6.5 million illegals. For like 30 years, people suspected we had between 10 and 30 million for 30 to 40 years. Now, just in 2.5 years, Biden has allowed in 6.5 million illegals. And like I said, oh boy, that got thrown off. Thank you for the $100 put in, bro. Thank you. But oh boy, that got thrown off keeps getting angry about me at calling names. Let's go ahead and establish the facts. I came to the space attacking the left. I didn't attack any Black men in the space. I attacked the left. Democrat Black men took it personally. There was a famous event that happened on Bernard's. Never said a word about that man. He comes up and attacks me. These leftist niggas been attacking me on panels and stuff. So I fight back. I'm not a sissy like the Democrats. I fight back. Now, you're not used to that, okay? But I fight back. And if you don't like it, stop following me on the panels to start shit with me.
Hey, can I say something? I've been quiet for a while here.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Go ahead.
So the one thing that I noticed, and what's his name? I forget the gentleman's name, but he said it. These Black men, first off, they come up here and they espouse 100% of what Democrats say, and then turn around and say, I don't like Democrats.
Exactly.
That do happen a
Right?
lot. We do see
all
that a
the
lot.
time.
They I mean, it's ridiculous. And then the moment you move to say something about black people moving to the other side, then they start scaring you with the white boogeyman. That is very odd. I listened to BGS the entire time. A lot of it was white boogeyman talk. And then the whole what is money thing. See, that's to keep away from actually having a productive conversation. Because when you ask a question like what is money, if you really look at it, that's a question that can and cannot be answered. Mostly cannot, because everyone knows money's operation. We also know that it can fail, right? At some point. So to ask that, it's like, why are you even asking that question? You're not really getting to the point that we're trying to get to. It's just obscure talk to feel intelligent. At least that was my take from it.
A lot of times you're trying to explain something for the viewing audience or listening audience, because it's a complex. Money's an abstract concept in the real world. So you kind of have to have that discussion for most people to like flesh it out in their heads.
Well,
not everybody
no,
thinks about it.
No, I think something else was actually happening there, and this is why I specifically called it out. It's so weird how I said this, and then it happens as like an object lesson right in front of us. So when I talk about these people act as if money ain't real, I was really talking about, people when you grow up like on welfare or whatever, money just exists for you, right? But in the grander scheme, the people at the higher end, the members who are actually members of the Church of Socialism and all that, they understand something. Well, they think they understand something, right? When they say money isn't real, that is actually literally why so many socialist countries throughout time have had problems or failed or whatever, because anytime you implement these socialist policies, it's not so much about the money, right? Like you said, money is a tangible thing. It's paper, but the paper doesn't really mean anything. It's a social construct, right? Right. It's a social construct, but the value is key. And what we're doing is trying to like use that money, that individual piece of paper, to represent an individual amount of value. And that value constantly fluctuates. And the people who say money isn't real have no real respect for that type of theory, where the value of money will actually fluctuate. It will go up and down based on you doing this or that. So for example, you say money isn't real, and you get elected and you take over all the banks, you nationalize the banks. Now all the investors pull out their money because their money is very real to them. Their money isn't real to you, and now your country is shit like Venezuela.
And one real quick point on the white boys, real quick. And shout out to Keeper 100, man. I want to reiterate, I've never told black men to love white people. I've never said white people love you. What I said exactly was that after knowing hundreds and hundreds of right-wing conservative white boys in the body shop business for 20 years, talking to them and shit, I tell you, their perspective matches yours 50 to 70% of the time. Y'all agree on the same shit. None of y'all talk the number of right-wing white boys I have. 50 to 70% of the time you agree. I think it's in our best interest. If you want to take things from the discussion phase into the action phase, politics is about numbers. Why wouldn't you work with these like-minded guys on the things we agree on? The only reason you wouldn't is because they're white and conservative. And that's
just to add to that, me and Hood have done some content on that on these Saturday shows. The black feminists, when they speak candidly, and some of them will say it right to the face of white feminists that we don't like y'all. We view y'all as basically they practically view them as the white wife of the slave master who gets to reap all the benefits. But if y'all want to form an alliance with us, and we could benefit from the numbers, and we can work whatever we trying to work, under the same umbrella as y'all and siphon our benefits out of that. They basically saying that they're down to do an unholy political alliance with white feminists to get what they want out of the deal. I'm just saying that just to piggyback on what you're saying, like, if black men can all generally agree that, other than some stuff for felons, that ain't too much coming out beneficial to black men coming from the left. It shouldn't be that damn far-fetched that if some benefits can come from the right and you got to form an unholy alliance, then goddamn it, form it. That's just what it is.
Now, the problem is the people on the other side, like I said, the white boys agree with us 50 to 70% of the time. The people on the other side agree with us damn near 0% of the time. But we're supposed to make allies of these people. FD Signifier, when he was up here, he said, are trans and gay LGBTQ allies. And I was like, allies against who? Allies against white supremacy. I'm sorry. I'm not being anybody's ally, especially those folks, against this white boogeyman. No, thank you. You ain't putting my son in a dress.
Yeah, but to Bernard's point, it's not an unholy alliance. You know what I'm saying? If everybody's getting what they want, or at least,
I agree.
30% of what they want, whatever, that's a win-win.
The only reason I called it an unholy alliance because, the white conservative, the white Republican is viewed as the racist boogeyman. And then, my simple point is that if black feminists can happily form their unholy alliance with the person who they don't like, who they view as equally racist, and they're getting political gains from that, it shouldn't be so far-fetched of a thought, even for the black men who accept that white conservatives are racist.
But I think that's to the effect of, it's like a cultural, and it's not even really branding or marketing, but it's similar. The culture has said that, what's the Ben Carson has said that Ben Carson is a square. He's not cool. You know what I'm saying? But his whole life is together, right? And he was a great story until he aligned with somebody, to not be named, right? Orange Man Bad. Same thing with the Orange Man himself. Spike Lee took pictures with this man, but 2 years prior. Waited like a groupie, and then turned his back on him when the people told him to hate him. People were given this narrative to hate people or to not like these people, and they can't tell you why. It ain't even Hatfields McCoys. They don't even know why. It's conditioning and it's culture, to Freeman's point. And if you can change the culture or whatever, at least in your household, or at least have some uncomfortable conversation at Thanksgiving, hey, we can be a little bit, further along.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because I always say it. I said black people had no problem with that man until they were told to have a problem.
He had the most rap songs made about him.
Yeah, they were taking pictures with him, everything. They was watching his show, doing everything, and then as soon as their overlord said you need to dislike him, all of a sudden they turn and dislike him, and that was the moment. The 2020 election was the moment everyone knew that the black Democrat is a joke, because you voted in the very man and danced in the street that spent his whole career having hatred and disdain for you, while simultaneously talking about we got to get rid of the big bad racist that has never done anything to harm you. The world saw that, and the black Democrat has been seen for the joke that it is.
And real quick, keep it 100. You said blacks were denied GI Bill money. The GI Bill was passed under FDR, a Democrat. Thank you. When are y'all going to wake up? When are you going to wake up?
All right, I do want to go to X in the building. Do want to go to X next, but the standard RLC in the building says you're less fortunate because you're black, and I'm going to help. Is also racism. Okay, I think he's talking about the racism that moral that's that racism will come from the left. I think that's what he's talking about there. He says black people think is bad policing the N-word. I don't know what that got to do with anything. Black people think it's bad policing the N-word. Yeah, I don't know. That kind of like
No, what he's saying is what he's saying there is that black people think that bad policing and then the N-word is racism, but they don't understand the soft bigotry of low expectations that come from the left.
Got it. Yeah, he was making a comparison between the two. Okay, got it. No, that makes sense. Good call.
Yeah, that was the point of those Berkeley students saying black people can't find their way around the internet. That made the other guy so mad. Berkeley students saying black people may not know how to find the DMV. Black people may not have a ride to the DMV. Black people may not be able to get an ID in the span of a 2-year period. The bigotry of low expectations.
No, I get that. Yeah,
liberals black is just for women. Women don't know the record.
Black people saying liberals can't. Yeah, I mean, liberals saying black people can't. Get an ID so they can vote. It's racist. Yeah, I mean, that's wild. That's wild. All right, brother Xavier in the building. Go ahead. You got the floor. You got the mic.
Peace, brother Bernard. I see the gang is all here. I'll be brief, man. I just came up here to answer the question that's on the title. Is the Manosphere really a conservative space? And what I say to that is, what if it is? What if it is? I mean, you have all these people, right, who claim that what someone claims to be, they're not it, right? That's the crux of it, right? You have all these people who's, oh man, these guys aren't conservative. Oh, they don't really know conservatism and all this kind of stuff. But the people who claim they are really conservatives, what they're really upset about is the fact that they didn't take part in the titling of something. They're not included in it. It's the same thing with some of the Manosphere stuff. The people who are not included, these people who think that they are the messiah of something. They are the people who know the most. They should be the people you should be coming to. They should be the go-to guy. Notice it's always those people who have the most problems with somebody labeling themselves as something. Those are usually the people who have the biggest problem. I know because I used to have a lot of the conservative brothers on my show, and they can vouch for that. You know how many emails I would get, phone calls I would get? Oh, X, man, you got these conservative guys on yours. Oh, man, you shouldn't have them up there. Oh, you shouldn't be doing this. As if I would listen to their black asses anyway. As if I would pay them any attention about who I should have on my stream. But I say that to say this. If a person claims to be something, man, who the hell am I to tell them that they're not? Who the hell am I to tell a person who identifies with a political movement, a political party, who am I to tell them that they are not? The real problem that people have with the quote unquote black conservative brothers is it's sort of like what Brother Friedman Journal said. A lot of us are programmed to just be anti-white. So what happens? When a brother comes up and says he's a conservative, they automatically relate it to white racism, political bigotry, prejudice, etc., right? You're always accused of, oh, you're using white supremacy talking points and you selling out for the white man and you dancing for the white man. That's what it's all about, man. That's the crux of it. We know this, man. We have been listening to this crap from dudes up here since forever. All right? I know. I've been around a while. I'm one of them quote unquote old niggas. So I've been hearing this crap for so long, man, and it's ridiculous because if you don't like something, like me, I don't like country music. So you know what I do? I don't listen to it. So why in the hell would I get up here and give people beef, give them heat, give them smoke for something they do that I claim I don't like. It goes back to what I always say, man. A lot of these people, man, are fans perpetrating as haters. They're probably subscribed to your channels and all of that, but they always got a problem with you. They in the chat room trying to detract from what you're saying and all this kind of crap. If you don't like me, why do I see you wherever I go? If you don't like me, because guess what? If I don't like you, you probably will never know it. You know why? Because you will never see me or hear from me. But that's all. I appreciate you letting me up, man. As always, Brother Bernard, peace and peace to all you brothers in the chat and on the panel. Peace.
Yeah, it's the same thing, dog. I don't hop up on panels to bother nobody. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was muted and didn't know I was saying a whole damn paragraph. But shout out to X. Y'all subscribe to X. But shout out to Nobody for the that was actually a $25 cash app. Shout out to Nobody with the $25 cash app. It was a little confusing. Yes, his name is actually Nobody. So when I say Nobody sent a cash app, I'm saying no, the person named Nobody sent a cash app. It's a little confusing. But shout out to him. Shout out to everybody in the building. We probably about to wrap this bad boy up pretty soon. Shout out to Sir Tice. Says it was actually birther. It was actually the birther thing that got many black folks in arms over the orange guy. But you're right overall. The boule controls the message. The masses thoughts. Okay, cool. Shout out to, we got a couple more in here that I'm trying to get to, some people who sent some cash apps that I don't want to forget. Shout out to Modern Day Problems for that one. Shout out to Sir Tice for that super chat. Shout out to Nobody for the $25 cash app. And it was somebody else. I think Sir Tice sent the cash app too. But thank you, Sir Tice, and thank you, Nobody. Thank you, everybody who's supporting the stream today. Definitely a good show today.
Another classic,
like this.
man.
Yeah, conversations like this
Another
with the Black Manosphere is all about. So but go ahead, Hood Servative, I'll let you get the last words then.
I can just say one thing real quick
before we get up out of here.
One thing? Could I say one thing?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll be on YouTube tonight at 8:30. I'm gonna give my advice to the black women who are taking the advice of Rebecca Lynn Pope. How about that?
Bernard, can I drop something?
All right, go ahead.
Or is it gonna go? Oh, I was gonna say the most important thing to realize is politics is just power grabbing by another means, and the biggest thing on the federal level, at least, is most of those guys spend half the time doing laws and legislation and the other half begging for money, right? So if you do that on the national level, if you have that money, you can get influence. On the state level, it's even easier because it's a smaller pool of people who donate. So if you are able to donate, you are able to get influence and get their ear. So a lot of men should recognize that's how you get something like the GI Bill that was talked about earlier that was denied to black veterans. The funds are allocated for all veterans, but because the white folks at the time had money, they were able to get those positions to administer the money to only white veterans. So if you don't start at the front by being the people with the money to get those positions, you're going to lose on the back end.
Right.
Thanks for having me up, man.
I don't argue with that. I just want to say something, and I said this the other day on my channel. To go with what Sir Tice was just saying, we don't have a belief system. We have a marketing budget. I'm talking about America in general. America doesn't have a belief system. They have a marketing budget. So when you start talking about the T people who are 0.2% of America, but they have enough influence to be in every Hollywood movie and put curriculum in your kids' school.
Commercials.
It's the marketing budget. When you market whatever you market yourself as, that's what people will know you as, right? And I think one of the biggest things is I think men in general are conservative. But I think when we come into these spaces and there's so many people from so many different backgrounds and so many different parts, so many different regions and age brackets and all that, right? That you have people who have the beliefs that's based on who marketed them. Like me being from Chicago, I'm supposed to hate Green Bay. New York is supposed to hate the Cowboys. Those are rivalries, tribal rivalries that were placed in you based on your region before you were even born, right? And I think that people stretch out this tribalism thing too much. I think it's too all inclusive. I always thought black people were all inclusive. And because of that, these conversations won't go anywhere until you can't straddle the fence. You have to say, this is what we want. And people will deal with you. Like all politics are local because all your representatives on the federal level are local. You can meet your state rep. Go take them a box of donuts. That's what I did. Me and my state rep cool. You know what I'm saying? Both of them, Willie Preston and I can't think of his other name, but cool. Come to the cookouts. Like they still people. So the relationships you build, the fact that when you start talking about what the court system would do, and I keep telling black people, I say, man, to have your own police force is just $26 a week. Y'all spending $30 on a 3-5. It's $26 a week to have your own police. And everybody like, nah, because I pay taxes. But then you complaining about the police messing with you. Like, yo, everything that people complain about.
How does that really work? $26 a week to have your own police? What you talking about?
In Chicago, at least, it's 60 homes on every block.
Okay.
If every house gave up $26 a week, you can pay for a police force of six cops and 2 cars. So you have 24-hour security from people. I would hire somebody off the block. Community policing. Only black people don't have police that look like them. They're the only ones. Chinatown made them take away the height restrictions so Asians could be police in their communities. White women made them take away the exercise restrictions so women could be cops in their communities, or at least parole officers, whatever.
I see a lot of black cops, dirty folks.
You don't see black cops proportionate to the neighborhood. You see more black male men than you do black police officers.
Well, part of that is
I mean, it's the end of the show. I wasn't trying to debate, but yeah, in highly populated black cities, the black police force do be over 50%. It's like that in Detroit. It's like that in Atlanta. It's like that in Baltimore. It's like that in Philly. Like that.
Hold on, but did Detroit even have white people? I've never seen a white person.
I mean, no, it's white people out there.
I've seen a few Asians. I've never seen a white person.
They be at the Lions game. They be at the Lions game. I see them. They show up to watch the Lions and the Tigers and the Pistons and stuff. So yeah, they there.
Man, but yeah, it's a good show, man. It's a good show. I'm out, man.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Thanks. True Hype. I guess you can get you some last words into.
I appreciate that, Bernard, man. Yeah, it was a good show, man. Regardless, you know, I like the fact that we can have some disagreements, and outside of like, you know, a few, you know, major disturbances looking like a spade game, you know, like we could you know, just tone it down just a little bit. But one thing that I would say it could be an easy fix for everybody is register as an independent. Stop playing team sports with your politics. You know what I'm saying? Like, and even if you're not gonna like vote, the one thing you can do to put a monkey wrench in the system is register as independent, and they still have to like count you toward the, hey, guess what? We got all these people over here in the middle. I mean, holler at different people. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like BJ said, holler at the libertarians. You don't have to vote with them, but you can see where their position is. And I'm for freedom, right? So that's my biggest thing. And neither of the uniparty, and I'm not saying Democrats or Republican, but I'm saying the people that walk in lockstep that happen to have a R and a D behind their name, whatever, are for your freedoms.
Well, that's what the Men of Syric stands for, which is what will be the first annual dinner at the Mano Meetup later this year. Syric stands for center-right, independent, Republican, and conservative black men. You notice that the D is missing because it has to. Salute.
Car designer Chris in the building, $5 super chat. Y'all make sure y'all go check that brother out, subscribe to him, and gonna go to Hood Conservative for last words on today.
Well, Thank you to BGS, first of all, for coming up and kind of playing the heel, so to speak. We needed somebody, and he showed up, which was actually cool. So he got to kind of field a lot of questions. It was weird. It's so funny. He uses that little Jedi logo as his visual, whatever. And yeah, I could see him. I guess he felt like he was in his Jedi moment, fielding all these questions. So shout out to him for coming up here and jumping in the pack like that. But it was one thing I kind of wanted to hark back to when we were talking, and when he asked me what I would take away. And the conversation after that went to all these tangents and different places. And I think my solution and approach is relatively simple. We could actually automatically, or at least begin to work out a lot of these tangential problems if we did what I gave as my initial answer to his question, which is we got to start repealing this feminism. We got to start evening the playing field. Or resetting the playing field, because to make it even is to still make it unfair technically. But we got to actually, do something about that as far as like what the reason why men should avoid the left versus the right. It's just a natural kind of realignment thing. If you put your masculinity and your manhood ahead of this thing called your blackness, then you would find a more comfortable home voting for things that are essentially right-wing positions. And I think once you start to look at it that way, you can kind of make that rationalization. A lot of other things start to fall into place. And so that's kind of my last word, I guess, the word I would leave everybody with is you got to put your manhood in front of your blackness, right? Your blackness is something that was pretty much conjured up to keep you on a hamster wheel, but manhood is intrinsic and it's timeless, and you have to live up to it. It's not something that was created for you for other people's benefit. It's what you are, and it's what you need to be. And so with that, I'll talk to you guys next Saturday.
Cool. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And tomorrow night, I should say, tomorrow night, I will be having Sub-Zero on, and so make sure y'all come through and definitely listen in. He will be addressing a lot of the charges at the beginning of the show. He will address the charges that was made at his IT academy. So definitely think you should definitely come on in and be a part of that. Definitely think you should come on in and be a part of that show. Remember the show I did where this was a thumbnail, or I had the Black Manosphere, that branch, and the black men who sit on that branch is cutting at the branch that they're sitting on. I mean, one could argue that, the more left-leaning black men are doing the same thing as well to some degree, but it was definitely a lot of that going on, liberal conservative mumbo jumbo and nonsense aside. It'd be a lot of that going on in the space, and I think we did see a lot of that come up on that panel I did with this thumbnail. This panel was titled "Black Men Hate the Black Manosphere More Than Black Women." And I highly recommend that stream, and I highly recommend you be there to watch. Was not a follow-up, but Sub-Zero's name came up a lot in that stream, so he will be addressing it formally at 7 p.m. tomorrow. He will be addressing it formally at 7 p.m. tomorrow. So I do want you to come up and be a part of that. And he'll be talking about his IT academy, where he's, helping black men get certified, get into the IT field, get into the IT career, and make some good money. Something that this space is also about, helping brothers. But let's go. Let's get up out of here. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, we are out of here. Peace. We gone.